International, stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Hello everyone and welcome on into the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. My name is Gibson. I am joined by Crot Stuff tonight for the final night of action, Crot, and it is all set up to be an absolute fantastic night of action.
I mean, VIVO Keyed looked like up until what, the last 3 play days, they had it in the bag. Alpha 7, they stopped that, they caught up, they're in the lead by a singular point. Tonight has been set up to be the most drama-filled Snapdragon Conquest Master Series that we've had, and I am so ready for it.
The first one with all regions counted, and it's been the best one so far, Crop. But for me, the fact that it's not just a 2-horse race, realistically there's still a couple of other teams that could come in and sneak away the win. But yesterday, it really set things up, because you spoke about Alpha 7. You came in, you're like, I'm expecting big things. They're going to come in, they're going to play hard, and they're going to put points on the board. Well, Crop, not only did they put points on the board, they're in lead by 1 point.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And we referenced 2 seasons ago where they come away in the last day and took it by 1 point. They've done that on the day before. But the thing that we were just talking about in the break with production was Influence Wage and INCO just being 20 points behind. But it is the format for tonight. Obviously, we have 3 lobbies that interchange and change up during the night. We have Miramar, Erangel, Miramar, Erangel, Miramar for the night. So that Erangel, that home field advantage, the green grass of home, is not going to be in the forefront of everyone's mind tonight. It's going to be more Miramar, and we've seen different teams perform differently and very contrast in scores, Gibson.
Yeah, it's led to some massive changes, and the fact that it's, as you said, the meme format tonight, where we're rotating back and forward. Some of these teams are only going to get to play on Erangel once, because of the fact that some groups set one out, so they're only getting 1 chance on that map, which means that their other 3 games on the night will be on Miramar. So how much of an impact do you think that's going to have on some of these teams' chances?
Well, I mean, let's look at yesterday. Team QUESO, back-to-back Erangel wins. Not so hot on Miramar. So it's going to be, can teams step up? Can they get the points required and not just frag out and own the maps that they know like the back of their hands? They need to be efficient on every map and not just have 2 good games. It's the last day, Gibson. You've got 5 chances to take that crown and put it on your head.
Yeah, well, the only people who can properly give yourself that opportunity is you. And let's look at the teams that are taking part in the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. Crot, we got 8 of the best teams in NA, 8 of the best teams in Brazil, and 8 of the best teams in the rest of South America. And looking at that list of teams, who are you looking at to have a big night tonight?
So obviously, after the frag fest yesterday in Roshok, I'm looking at INCO. They are still very much in the running. If VIVO Keyed and Alpha 7 have quiet nights, they're only 20 points behind. They can come up. Same with Influence Rage. Team QUESO, if they can be as dominant as they were in Erangel, man, it's so open, it's so ready, and this is why we love PUBG Mobile. It's exhilarating, and it is going to come down to the wire.
It really is, and we spoke about that 1 point lead, and there you have it. Alpha 7 just 1 point ahead of VIVO Keyed, and the 1 point theme continues, Crot, as we go to 3rd and 4th with just 1 point separating Influence Rage, and INCO Gaming. But now I'm going to ask you the question you don't want to get asked. Are Team QUESO and Storm Gaming still in the hunt? Or do you think it's just a step too far?
I mean, we've seen 20, 30-point games or close to 30-point games, and we've seen the top dogs have quiet nights. It depends who's on the game and who is hungry enough for it. And I mean, if we look at INCO, 7 chicken dinners. They eclipse everyone. If they can add to that, if they can get another 2, if they can continue to pick up the frags in the end game, they're very much in the running. But someone that I want to highlight is MANDRAKES. They come in from qualifiers. They're sitting in the top 8, and it is such a credit to them to be able to hold their heads high and throw hands with the big boys.
Yeah, MANDRAKES and Storm both came up through the qualifiers, and the fact that they're both entrenched in the top 8 as well it says a lot about the players who came out of the the Brazil tournament and the standard that they have. And then the last team inside our top 8 is the one that we pointed out as having a very strong performance over the last couple of play days when it comes to tournaments is Loops. And Crot, they did. They were very good yesterday, especially on whenever we played on Miramar. 210 points, I think it's too much of an ask, because even as good as Team QUESO were yesterday, they got 45 points over 2 maps. I don't know if Loops are in the running for first, but they're definitely in the running to make that top 6 and get themselves some prize money.
I mean, their Miramar performances yesterday were absolutely insane. Yes, I don't think they can catch. I mean, it's like 80 points to get up there to catch the top dogs, but they can do what they did yesterday. If they can get themselves into the top 5, they will be able to hold their heads so high, because they weren't here yesterday. Yesterday was a momentous day for Loops.
Oh, it was huge. Absolutely huge day for them. And let's look at the teams in 9th to 16th. And Crot, are there any teams in there that you think can make a push for that top 8 today?
Honored Souls, Nova, and Black Dragons. Black Dragons, I've seen them. I've cast them multiple times, and I don't know. They just haven't had the same flame beneath them, and I want more, because when they pop off, The map control they get at end game when they're set up, when they're ready, is exquisite. But Nova and Honored Souls are the ones that I'm looking at, especially Nova. They're within reach and distance, and I think they are going to bring the heat.
Oh, I really hope they do. And let's jump on over to Team 17 through to 24, the teams that are holding up the rest of the league. And it's unfortunate to be in this position, but we do have some very good teams. Intense Game, ATON 7 Esports, BULUC, CHABTAN, Korean Barbecue Lovers. Team Souls in particular yesterday, they had some big moments on Erangel, and to be honest, if they could have played like they did yesterday every other game day, they would have been much higher up the table.
I tell you what really impressed me with Team Souls yesterday was they were winning their 1v1s consistently. But it was the team dynamic fights that were letting them down. They were winning 1v1s. But they weren't there for the retrades, which is why they lost out, which is why they haven't got so many points over the tournament. And that comes with time, with chemistry, with knowing how your teammates playing. If Team Souls can win their 1v1s against the best in North America, then I only expect them to go up from here. And this is just a learning curve. Let's not beat around the bush. Some of these teams have come in dry, and some of these guys are veterans. But the guys that have come in that are playing against the best in NA, some of the best in the world, to hold their own, to win 1v1s, that is a credit to them, and I only see them going up from here.
Yeah, and the big thing for Team Souls too is the fact they've only played 22 games. Like, they got 10 kills yesterday, 10 eliminations, Crot, and they had 18 the rest of the play days combined, so it goes to show it was a much better individual performance for them. Back-to-back didn't play yesterday, and we're not sure if they'll be joining us tonight or not, the former XSET roster. But, to speak a little bit about them too, Crot, it really surprised me that they were not able to get up and running, specifically when you look at the roster of players that they had and the way they've performed in recent tournaments.
Yeah, it's very strange, and you've got to ask yourself, is there some kind of feud going on? Is there a reason why they're not playing as harmonious as what they have been, as why they're not up the leaderboard? And is that the same reason why they've not played last night? Is that the same reason why they potentially aren't playing tonight? And it's unfortunate, but these things happen. We all know what esports and online gaming is like, and you know, they've not had the performance. We were impressed with them last time. They doubled their score in one night, but it's one of those things. They have fought hard, but the talent in this lobby is exquisite, and battle royales, who you run into, timing is absolutely everything. But we're about to go into our first map of 5. Gibson, it's the last day. I'm so excited, and it's Miramar.
I am pumped. That desert that we always like to talk, the desert of death, as you like to say, the sand between your toes. Get yourself down on the ground and get an early feel of the game. We've seen a couple of hot drops over recent play days, but Crot, this is the final day. Will we see the teams that are at the top going head to head, or will they start off cautious and change things up? Let's jump on into the game though. Look at that flight path, Crot, and tell everybody what you're seeing.
So the plane bav is still loading for me currently, but it looks like it is from the south. Where is it, Gibson? You need to fill me in here because I am behind on the map.
We are going from approximately 8 p.m. or sorry, 4 p.m. up through to 9 p.m. Very south, southwestern focused, if I'm being honest, with Chimasera being pretty much on that flight path, Crot. So in reality, northern sections, El Azahar, Cruz de Val, Torre Hamada, all of those spots are so far away.
Yeah, it's a very southern map, and it is going to be one of those things where a lot of the north side isn't in, and that's going to force teams to adjust and drop differently.
Yeah, the different drops, different way of playing. Alpha 7, your current leaders, well, they are still on the plane as they make that late drop. Start heading north towards El Pozo and Crater Fields. Got teams that are in the hunt. The likes of your Vivo Keyed, well, I'm seeing them right now. They're going just north of Power Grid. So they're not going to be too far away geographically, but I do imagine that they will stay within arm's reach of each other for a little bit. We won't see any early fireworks between those two.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you've got to keep an eye on your enemy, but you've also got to keep your game plan in mind. And it's about that balance. We see teams adjusting and teams changing the dynamic because it's the last day, because they know that they're in the lead or up high, and that's a downfall. But let's talk about the fight that's about to happen, and it's Team QUESO versus those Black Dragons.
Yeah, the Dragons taking on the Cheesy Boys in the early gunfight here. And as we look, Netsuzi, Very Duxada scouting out through the window. He's got a beautiful angle. And this is one of the things that I think really help with third-person perspective, is you can scout without necessarily putting yourself into a massive amount of risk. But these two teams, Crot, two teams that you've, both of us highlighted at the start of the night, well, they're going to go head-to-head early on, and I'm all for it.
Absolutely, and I just want to put a little bit of a spotlight on Duxada, because time and time again goes kind of unnoticed because the fights typically are so quick and so exhilarating. Duxada has been an absolute monster, clutching up, finishing fights from range, and just an absolute credit to the Black Dragons. And sometimes in esports, you don't get enough time to highlight certain players. PUBG is fortunate where you get that little bit of downtime at the start, and I think this is time to pay homage to some of the players that have really excited us during this competition.
Yeah, well, you spoke about downtime. Well, it's time to down some enemies for Vivo Keyed, as Diego, the solo player, getting pushed by 3 players at once. Woo! He's all alone. He gets the knock onto Alan. And he sprays onto the toe, but coming up the stairs will be Doo-Doo. And he shows that he ain't Doo-Doo as he takes Diego out. And that is first blood in the battle for first place. Diego is a huge loss for Vivo Keyed.
He is an absolute monster of a player. And to have him down in the first minute of play, well, Alpha 7, they've got to be thinking, all right, we're going to start rolling from game number 1. They will be watching that kill feed. They will be keeping track on every knock, every elimination. And again, it just is part of the game. If you're not keeping track of that kill feed, if you don't have the infill of every aspect that's given to you, then you're not making use of it and you don't deserve to be at this level. But every team we see on our screens, they will be watching it diligently and they are deserving to be here tonight, Gibson.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Storm Gaming are in 6th place. They're very much entrenched in that battle for the top 3-4 spots as well. So, big for them. Jumping back on into this gunfight inside Monte Nuevo between Team QUESO and Black Dragons. Coach Emma, the player that we signaled for special praise yesterday, not because of the fact that he's a gifted player, but he's a coach. He's subbing in. Yeah, he's playing as a sub. They haven't got their full roster. And we've pointed it out. He could be playing himself into contention to get onto the first team.
Oh, 1, 2 fall at the hands in Team QUESO. Well, they look like they're going to open this up and finish it very, very quickly. But no, resistance is coming. Dipping and diving up and around the stairs. That third-person perspective helping a little bit, but only for a moment, has now coming over. And it's 3. Oh, it's a 1v1 now. No, it's a 1v2. Free fire comes out, but it's not good enough.
Mono last man up gets the knock on the Nicholas as well. Black Dragons fall. And Team QUESO will get everybody back on their feet. Well, that's some
real
strong cheese prop.
Unreal. Down. That was so good. The pre-fires being close enough to re-trade each other, to refrag. They took the initial knocks. Things looked like they were down and against them, but they were in close enough contention that they were able. Oh, the BM. Come on, Mono. That's not okay. But they were in close enough to contention to refrag. And that's so important. And this is where info on where everybody is so important, because yes, you might get the open and knock. Yes, the push is viable, but unless you know where every single player is, if they're set up to defend, it can fall very quickly against you, even though you've got that man advantage.
Yeah, the man advantage, it's only as good as your teamwork comes in, Crop, because macro play will always beat micro play at the end of the day. Like, micro play can get you out of a tricky situation. Macro play gets you wins. It's like, in America, they talk about sports and North and South America saying, you know, your attack wins you games, but your defensive play, your decision-making wins you championships. And that's what these teams are trying to do.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean, let's take Team INCO yesterday. They defended on the corner of Monte Nuevo time and time and time again. They were down numbers, but their decision-making, their defense made them impenetrable. Yes, they lost numbers. Yes, they went down to half strength. But their resolve and their strength to hold on to what little hard cover and what ground they had ended up winning them the game.
INCO, and not even that, you spoke about it, the decision to step into the blue, Crop. Eat the blue, get the kill, back yourself. And
that is still one of my highlights from this whole championship. I cannot believe that he had the balls just to go, I'm going to boost up, I'm going to heal up to full, and I'm going to peek this angle in the blue, chunking phase 6 damage, ladies and gents, and gets the kill before he bleeds out. Insane IQ, insane game sense to know where the player was, to know that he had the time to get the angle, and to do the damage required, and to clutch up the game. It is probably my best play of the season.
Yeah, let's not mention the fact that one nade nearly took out both of the INCO players as well. It was about, if they were a meter closer together, they were both goners. That's how good the nade was. It split the difference, but it wasn't enough. And INCO were able to swing around and get the kill to win them the game. VIVO Keyed, let's look at their stats. They're sitting in 2nd place right now, 141 eliminations, which puts them top of that chart. Damage, 25,000. 2nd in that chart, and their survivability 2nd with 1,658 meters. And speaking of survivability, well, Beta's survivability in game number 1 of the night was 8 minutes and 34 seconds as he has fallen to the Korean barbecue lovers.
We want these guys to do better. They broke the 100 mark yesterday. They're playing with only 3 players in this lobby, but they got a frag on the board, all 3 members up, and they're surging forward. We love the logo, we love the team name, and we love the style of play, but that circle is about to encapsulate, and we're about to find out where we're playing in Gibson. That power grid's looking pretty central, and that high ground where VIVO Keyed. Now, we've seen them do that on Sanhok time and time again and sweep up. Can they do the same on Miramar?
Well, that is what we will find out. And whether or not they can get the win, they need to chase it down. But they are a member down as they lost Diego to Storm Gaming in the early engagements. And touching back on Korean barbecue lovers, our producer Marek said that that Brazilian steakhouse is better than Korean barbecue. So that's coming from production, just so you know. And pizza. There we go.
I mean, after the photos that he sent, I cannot argue the pizza. Matuk said he's gonna buy us some pizza when we go over there because it needs to happen. We need a LAN for Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. It needs to happen. Get it sorted. And Matuk, you owe us dinner. But yes, the Korean barbecue. It is an argue. It is a focal point now for Brazilian barbecue and Korean, but it's very much the Brazilians that are on top right now.
He was also telling us about like a cookie and cream magnum that you can get
over
there. And
stop it, Gibson. You're making me hungry, man.
He's going to send us over one of them as well. Koi banishing Mufasa as he sends him into the Shadow Realm with a cheeky little spray as Nova are fighting it out here on the edge of the zone. Nino going for the res. INCO involved here too, as our BULUC CHABTAN. There's multiple engagements happening in this little area of the map as Myth is just preparing the utility dump. But you know, Crowd, I don't think I'll ever see anything like the utility dump we saw last time, and our Turzen is going to say he'll probably never see anything like that where he should have been knocked.
You said we didn't think we were going to see the same utility dump, but Honored Souls just living up to their reputation, taking names with nades, and they're going to continue surging forward. We've seen this building, these two buildings, be the focal point of so many battles on Miramar. It's going to be Honored Souls that win that one out, but the fight is not done. Look at the mini-map. Look who is smothering them from every angle. They need to reset, and they need to do it quickly because INCO, they're ready to come in third party and take every single point and power that Honored Souls have just gained away from them. Oh no, that spray might have just given the game away. And now INCO, the location is revealed and the game might be up. Honored Souls, they're 3 up. They're 4 up. They have the split, but now they need to focus on the enemy that's knocking at their door.
Yeah, well, we gave INCO the test yesterday, the task of adding to their elimination feed. They're dominating as far as chicken dinners are concerned. They have 7. That's more than Alpha 7 and Vivo Keyed survived, or combined. Well, so it's the same as those two combined. That's how dominant they have been in the end game. But they've lived a passive early game, and that's kind of really held them back a little bit, Crot. A team that don't be very passive in the early game at times is Nova. And they're getting into a gunfight right now as our team Souls jumping on in to see Federal get himself a little bit of a knock. And Influence Rage, they are definitely in the hunt for the win in this tournament.
They certainly are, and a knock here would be absolutely devastating, but staying up on their feet, staying together, and trying just to oppress the members in the concrete. Looks like that fight is still raging on between Honored Souls as well, but Influence Rage are spreading out. They're trying to get the wrap around, and Nova, like you said, they normally go and frag out early, which can be a detriment. Gibson, PUBG is all about balance. Perfectly balanced as all things should be, and Nova seem to have found that balance as they are fragging out and they're looking for that end game presence. The two combined put you at the top of that leaderboard.
Yeah, Nova are a strange team because they're aggressive in the early game, then they become incredibly passive in the late game where they like to just grab a compound and hold it out, and we've seen them do the med strat quite a bit. And go dumping a lot of utility on top of Honored Souls now, as you spoke earlier about the gunfire giving away the ghost, letting them know where they are. Well, V2 is just trying his best to lay down some misery onto those Honored Souls. And, you know, jumping back, speaking about INCO, I'm looking at the setup. Of course V2 can play aggressive, Crud. He's level 3 gear.
Again, that gives you that little bit of advantage. It makes you a little bit more confident to peak. And confidence going into a gunfight sometimes is a determining factor. So having that free gear is just going to boost your confidence, allow you to peak for that little bit longer, and potentially get that frag. But that circle has shifted once again. San Martin and that weird Clifftown area in between Graveyard and San Martin is going to be the focal point. INCO deciding to disengage, which is a smart, grown-up decision. And they're going to go and try to find some real estate. But this is a weird circle, Gibson. and it's a weird set of land. There's highs, there's lows, there's flats, there's buildings. It gives you everything that Miramar has to offer, and this is going to be a phenomenal game number 1.
I'm excited, and what excites me even more is the positioning of Vivo Key. They have locked down that ridge line that runs the whole way from Picado to San Martin. Korean barbecue lovers, they're pushing up onto that South San Martin, you know, the little god compound that you've got rocking up there. And to the north, quite a few teams wrapping up from the northern side. I'm looking, and I think I see Team Souls coming on in. Is that
Storm, Influence Rage, Alpha, or even at Hacienda? Yeah, that north side is going to become a hotbed of activity. And so is the south side. INCO moved quickly, they moved efficiently, but they've got VIVO, the big dogs looming over them. They can't rest easy, but there are so many teams moving in from the north and south. And I tell you what, Gibson, weirdly, the middle of the circle is the safest right now.
Yeah, you're pretty bang on with that assessment, although I will say this. San Martin, we know that the zones in PUBG Mobile are completely RNG. Well, we'll pick up that point a little bit later, as there is an engagement going on top of the hill now, as Honored Souls fighting it out with Nova. Koi peeking up over the top of that hill, getting his head knocked as he is taken out of the Honored Souls pond. Arturzan coming in from the edge of the zone, as Honored Souls are going to rock on up into this fight as well. GC God just using the lay of the land as Koi just crawls toward Kindness, and one good spray, one good peek from GC God will wipe Kindness out, but Kindness is staying in the fight.
They've got backup in return, but that micro Uzi just ripping through players left, right, and center. Does look like it's all falling apart. As Honored Souls, they go out, and Nova are victorious. They bring themselves up to 6 eliminations. They have 3 players up. One needs to be revived, but do they have the time? Do they have the measures to do so? Because this circle, again, has shifted hard, and now they are on the edge where everyone's going to want to come in from that south east side.
Yeah, the zone shift is an interesting one that Vivo Key and INCO are absolutely loving right now. INCO, they've got a line of sight onto Nova and Influence Rage. It looks like Juancho was pushed on up. Vivo Key turning their attention on the rise as well, as they're getting a couple of knocks as multiple gunfights erupting all over the desert dunes. Mafioso taken down to his knees by Federal. Kiowski traded back the other way. And Krot, this is a long-range engagement. That is a beautiful spray with the Scar from range.
It absolutely is, but more importantly, this is a huge fight for the top of that leaderboard. We're seeing Mafioso down. Influence Rage, they're currently in 3rd. Alpha 7 currently in 1st. Now Rise are getting involved. The third party comes in, and Alpha 7, they cannot rest whatsoever because their lead is very much at stake. 1 point, and we looked and we spoke about where Vivo Key are. They are so dominant. They have the high ground. They have the numbers, and everyone has to come to them. And now Alpha 7, they've got to hold their own. They've got to rise to the occasion, because with 3 members, yes, we talked about the army of 2, but this is the final day, Gibson. This is where every move, every decision matters, and they can't get away with losing a member, especially going into the end game where Vivo Key have the high ground.
Yeah, that's totally true. And Vivo Key hoping that the zone will shift a little bit, so the edge of the ridge is the edge of the zone. Emmett going to get flushed by himself in the end. Mono turning his attention on Kutin from EXG, and that nade from Revo absolutely dropped into the bucket, as Alpha 7 will look at this. Federal once again bringing down some law onto Alpha 7. Swagoon now 2 members up for Alpha 7, and Paulie from Influence Rage looking to drop that down to just 1. And even more importantly, is Law going to be able to go for the res? Nope. He decides to leave Kiowski to his fate and push on up now and give Law some supports.
They're very much just taking A7 apart, but it is falling quickly, and now Alpha 7 on the back foot, and out! No way! Influence Rage, they do the deed that needs to be done, but Rise are not going to allow them to get away with it for free, as now they, third party, they get involved in the situation. They're looking to take them off that podium spot.
Yeah, and Influence Rage just 25 points off the top 2 in that pack, so this could be big for them if they're able to get that res. They have 4 eliminations now. And they begin to smoke on out Federal, looting onto that body. The res has been completely carried out as Law is back on his feet as they look to turn Martial Law onto the rest of the lobby. The zone shift happened, and Vivo keyed. Well, as they would say in Ireland, Crot, they are as happy as a pig in muck.
Absolutely, couldn't have been more gifted. They've set up, they're ready for it. That high ground, those cliffs are so hard to push. The vaulting animations means even if you get close, you're going to get caught in animations before you can pull your gun out, before you can fire. And with the guns on the side of Vivo Key, I can't imagine anyone's going to be allowed to get close.
Yeah, and not only that, they've got the likes of GZ there to provide a little bit of a buffer for them, to protect them if anyone pushes up their way. It's like what you would call an early alarm. An early notification of teams pushing it up, and there you have it. Sam from Korean Barbecue Lovers getting into that fight with GC, and that is just allowing those cartographers on the team of Vivo Key to paint a mental map of where the remaining sides are. Lucas gets the knock onto Azor. Sam flushes on out Hulk as these two behemoths fight it out. And of course, Korean Barbecue Lovers, they're a mix of two of the best teams in the regions, Crot, after the orgs dropped on out. And, well, Influence Rage, they add another one to their tally.
They come in, they absolutely backstab. They're looking for that control. They're looking, they hear the third parties. They want those points. They know how close they are to touching glory, and they are not going to let this case rest. They're starting heavy in game number one. For Vivo, Cielo flexing out, coming down to investigate. That might be a bit of a mistake. Vivo Key with the high ground, with the priority, with the real estate, with the map control, but they are so split. Whereas one pause, it might be a domino effect like we talked about last night. And there's the first knock!
And that was a little bit of a mistake, I think, getting too aggressive, pushing that knock, as ENCO were able to trade it back. But thankfully, due to this high position, Cielo should be able to get the rest. This nade, though, could be pivotal. Oh, he cooked it too long, Crot. It was burnt. It was overcooked. And had he just let it go a second earlier, he may have got himself a triple, baby.
Cielo, though, after overcooking that nade, is on the back foot, is having to reconsolidate with his team. But when looking at that mini-map, there are teams below, there are teams above, there are teams surging up to the rocks, trying to get that control away from them. And yes, they had the power, they had the map spread, they had the map control, but they were too split. They weren't able to refrag, they weren't able to trade each other out, and now it's all falling apart very quickly. And each member that's still on their feet is under so much pressure, and that circle is only going to bring more and more players into their lines of sight, but more importantly, them into their lines of sight.
Oh, Vivo keyed. Well, they've got the key, Crot. They've got the secret. They've got a key to another way, potentially a chicken dinner in this one, which will once again establish them on top of the pile. Just 2 eliminations to their name, but they have prime real estate, Crot, and that position they have makes up for the player they've lost.
Absolutely. Now, I have a phrase. Oh, no, that's never mind. Oh, God. Federal's going to punish Cielo then, is going to confirm that out nice and quickly. No one there to refrag is now Influence Rage. They surge forward, but they are not going to be allowed to do so. Oh, no, it's all falling apart. The Groza rings out and sings its song, and that thing hits like an absolute train, and we're looking at the kill feed. Vivo Key down to 1 player, only 2 frags on the board. They are in the placement points, but that is not going to be enough to keep them safe. Oh, no, Law dropping mortars. I've talked about heat-seeking nades over the course of this series. It looks like it's going to be another one!
Oh, I absolutely love it. He gets the double. And that is that for GZM Influence Rage. 8 eliminations. We pointed out there were 25 points off the top going into this. Well, they are closing that gap. Storm and 6th place. They turn their attention to infinity, and they send them beyond and into the afterlife as they have just 1 player left alive. And Crop, we speak about INCO. The fact that they always get chicken dinners, but their eliminations aren't high. Well, they're 4 men up. They're in the end game, and they haven't got a single elimination yet.
They are in the end game. They do have the numbers. Yes, they don't have the eliminations, but the thing is this isn't an INCO circle for me. They're in the low ground. Everyone on the high ground is going to have to scrap. But no matter what happens, INCO are going to have to surge on up, get themselves to that center point, and every single gun hiding in every single crevice, whether it be a solo, a duo, a trio, is going to be aimed at them. They're going to be listening for audio cues close to them, but they want to eliminate the threat below them so they can take the fight honest on that cliff. INCO, yes, they've done well to keep all 4 up, but they are going to have the chips against them in this last end circle.
Oh, and look at these nades that are being hurled over the edge. And that is a long distance to reach, as you really are becoming a mobile bomber. As Influence Rage turn their attention to INCO, but all this noise they are making, Crot, will provide even more information to the remaining teams. We've got Influence Rage, Storm Gaming, VIVO Keyed, and we have INCO down by the edge. The zone shift comes on in, and Crot, well, I don't know, I didn't think it was possible to have a zone this late in the game where not a single player is inside it.
It's one of those where players are betting on it going to a little bit of familiar territory, but this has just been one of those PUBG esports circles where the PUBG gods said, we're not going to be kind today. It's the final day. You've got to work for that crown. You've got to work for that money. You've got to work for that chicken dinner, and they're not going to give it away for free. Storm, though, dicing, dancing with death. Does he realize? No, he doesn't. But again, VIVO Key showing that trigger discipline that we talked about that can win games if you just hold off, let the other teams fight, and come in and sweep up. Well, chicken can be on the menu.
Well, here's the thing. There's 5 teams and only 11 players. It goes to show how much that war of attrition has affected every single team except INCO. Influence Rage, 3 men up. Infinity, 1 man up. VIVO Keyed, 1 man up. Storm with 2. And INCO with all 4. Nenabete, though, coming under fire from Law, who has descended down from up that hill. And V2 has got himself a nasty little peaky point Crot up on top of the hill. Storm on, we would look at Polly. Adrian.
No way! Ooh! No way, I said about the trigger discipline that comes into fruition now, managing to get a frag. And not only that, just stab everyone in the back. He is known. He is revealed, but how long can he hold on? What more can he do? It looks like not a lot else. But now, just revealing everyone else that tried to refrag and trade out. Oh, that's insane. Law goes down, but it's not over yet. Oh, VIVO Key still fragging out, still gaining points, and still marching forward towards that crown.
Adrian picking up more and more, just extending that gap at the top over Alpha 7 as they are once more top of that pile. Spraying down through the smoke, hoping to find somebody at the end of his barrel. INCO, well, they've still got 4 men up. But Nene is under a lot of pressure. Adrian chucking that nade. He cooked it so long. But the airburst unable to do any damage. Both of these players thinking the same. Oh, that's
the bounce.
Oh, Crot, it was so close.
Oh, nearly. Now he's just going to underarm it. But he is receiving artillery fire nades in his own direction. And INCO, they're moving up. They're loving this. Oh my god, no, he's on fire. He is going to go out and he is going to lose it. Goes down to the last 2 teams. But is he going to get the frag and absolutely gifted? No, he's not. But INCO, they're set up. They have the numbers. They have the guns. They have the real estate just to wait for Influence Rage to come on down. Descend down into hell and hellfire. But is Federal going to give them a point? Is he going to realize that denying might actually be more beneficial right now than actually taking the fight?
I think he's in a strange situation because if he can get 1 or 2 eliminations from this spot, so never mind, I was going to say he could probably do some of the med game, but he's got absolutely nothing to play with here except for the top. We're going to call this his Pride Rock. Crotty's 2 HP, 10 HP, and a dream. Every member of INCO looking his way. They want this 3-kill chicken dinner. Federal's going to name his way to Victor to second place as INCO. 2 eliminations and a win. If there was ever an example of INCO and how they play, it was that map. That just about puts them over 100 eliminations this whole tournament. But it's their 8th win.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, is they were in fights initially, but they kept all 4 up. Yes, they got the knocks, but they disengaged. They used their intelligence. They used their game sense to realize this is not a favorable fight. We'll continue on. We'll go and get somewhere to set up, and we'll get that chicken dinner. And that's exactly what they did, Gibson.
And look, it's points. It closes that gap again. And In reality, Alpha 7, the only team out of the top 4 that didn't pick up monstrous points in that one. Vivo Key, I think they ended up coming in 3rd place. Influence Rage in 2nd. And INCO in 1st. So teams 2, 3, and 4 in reverse order going 1, 2, and 3, Crot. And that just going to keep on closing the gap at the top. And really, this is exactly what this lobby needs.
Yeah, I mean, before the cast tonight, me, you, and the producers, we talked about the drama. We talked about who we wanted to win. And we said, you know what? We want it to be as close as possible. In game number 1, that's closed the gap. That's made it possible. And it is going to come down to the wire. Potentially even the last game. And I'm for it. I love the drama. I love the suspense. And my, oh my, are we getting delivered that? Duran did so much work to get points, to gain those position points, to gain those elimination points. But is it enough? Is it enough?
Well, we will find out in a few moments when we look at that final leaderboard. That was the end of game number 1. And let's look at our match ranking. 21 points for Influence Rage. They were 25 off 2nd place, 26 off top. So they have really closed that gap. INCO coming in with 17 points and Infinity with 14. As all of these teams keep on closing up. But the big one for me, Crop, they were 1 point behind top spot coming into today. Well, now they're 13 points above it.
They are indeed, but look at what Influence Rage have done. They've closed that gap. There was just a 26-point gap. 21 points. Yes, Vivo Key got 14. But they're closing. They're gaining. They're hungry for it. And it's not over yet, Gibson. Nova, again, good performance. They got some points on the board. Team QUESO as well. Storm Gaming, again, in the top 6. They got an extra 10 points on top of their tally. This is wide open, Gibson.
Oh my god, it is. And I am really interested to see the top 3. But let's look at the bottom half of the match ranking. See who didn't quite have a great game. Honored Souls with 5. Rise with 4. Korean Barbecue Lovers with 3. ENX and Alpha 7 with 3 and 2. And for Alpha 7 to be the 3rd or 4th lowest ranked team in that lobby, well, it kind of puts them once again on the back foot, Crot, and that could actually spring them into life. They're the sort of team that could react really positively to that.
Now, I love the fact that when Alpha 7, they lose 2 members at the start of the game, they go feral. They show their teeth, they show their fangs, they show their claws, and they come alive and they can rip teams apart as just a 2-man. But going out in 13th place with just 2 points on the board, that's not what they need. Looking at the team stats, the winners, it's INCO. We saw them dropping red zones on players yesterday. They got 2 elims, 1,000 damage, but more importantly, they got the chicken dinner.
Yeah, and what that tells me is the same as always. They're putting up fantastic damage numbers. They're just struggling to turn them into eliminations, but in the end game, they always seem to pick the right position to play. They play it right, they get chicken dinners. That's why they have 8. And the top 2 only have 2 and 3. So they, sorry, it was 2 and 4, I believe, or 3 and 4. So they've really put the rest of the lobby to the sword. Let's jump on over to the individual stats, though, and see who our most dangerous man in the lobby was. And there he is, Mono and Juancho level with 5 eliminations each.
Insane numbers in Team QUESO. We didn't really highlight them all too much, but apparently, they had a very good game. And again, they were in 5th going into game number 1. Federal, again, just a force of nature. Shutting him down on that buggy, shutting him down early was good. But still, even though going out early, 750 damage, 4 eliminations. That guy is a monster. The quicker you can close him down, the better your chances are. But let's have a look at the overall leaderboards. And my, oh my, I am ready for this.
Well, up on top, Vivo Keyed on 291. And in second, our producer just said, let's go. He loves it. Alpha 7, just 11 points behind them in second. Influence Rage Crot, 7 points off second place now. And INCO on the 268. There is only 23 points separating our top 4. That is one good game. That is ridiculous.
Gibbs, we've seen 27, 28 point games. We've seen the top dogs have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 point games. There are 4 games left, Gibson. I'm freaking out. But Nova Esports, they're on the precipice of getting into those 8. We're going to have to go quickly, but look at how congested this is. We're going to go and take a look at the overall rankings for the bottom third of the leaderboard. But Gibson, I'm freaking out. I don't know how to digest this. Back to Black, obviously, they're not playing. Team Souls, they're in. Korean barbecue lovers, our favorite. They've broken the 100-point mark. They got another 3 points on top of that. WARMASTER, Intense, ATON, Z8, Buck to Chang. Oh, Gibson, I'm freaking out. I can't believe how close it is. I'm freaking out.
Well, so am I. Well, Crot, you know what we'll do? We'll just jump to a quick break so you can go
get
some water on your face, get ready. When we come back, we'll have game number 2. There's just 4 games remaining in the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. We'll be back in a few.
International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back on into the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. My name is Gibson. I'm joined by Crot, who needed a couple of minutes after that last one to get himself mentally prepared for game number 2 of the night. And Crot, it's a 4-horse race with 4 games to go. Could another team even jump on and to make it 5?
I mean, a week ago, I cast with Froz, and we were saying, Vivo, they've got it. They can literally take the last day off. Not at all. And Gibson, it's hot, it's humid here, but it's not as hot as the action that we're seeing on our screens, and not as hot as the race. And now we go back to Aaron Gale, that own the original grounds. But Gibson, what wins games?
Frames. And if you want the best frames, well, you gotta get yourself the best performing processors on the market. Make sure and get yourself a smartphone with the Snapdragon processor, but you get yourself some HDR10. It's got beautiful depth to its colors, a bright screen with really good contrast, game quick touch, and much, much more. And just remember, you can keep up to date with everything Snapdragon on @Snapdragon Official on Instagram and @Snapdragon on Twitter. So, Krotz, you've got yourself a phone, and you can confirm Snapdragon phones, they make you a little bit better at the game.
I'm not going to lie. I had a Sony Xperia X5 before. I moved over. I got a Snapdragon processor. It's night and day. But the plane is in the sky, and wow, we've got a very kind plane path, Gibson, going from about 9 o'clock all the way over to just about 3:30, which is going to open up a lot of the map. But again, ladies and gents, Snapdragon, they're our sponsor for this competition. They are what is putting on all this glorious action for you. Make sure that you go over to their Instagram @Snapdragon Official and their Twitter @Snapdragon, so you can keep in touch with all the latest updates. But Gibson, that circle.
Well, it
Oh
is
my.
what we always
We
say.
can't say it. We can't say it. We can't say it. Do not mention it. Chat, please do not say the name, but we are begging for a circle to go there. We have been casting for 2 years together. We've not had one, but it might be in the realms of possibility tonight.
But remember what we always say. Nice flight path, nasty zone. That zone to the untrained eye it's good, it's nice, you think it's fine. It's not really.
It's not.
There's lots of water, and there is a river splitting the playable area in half, which means all these players gotta make a decision.
They do indeed, and we talk about this. There is about 30% out on the north coast. On the west coast, there's a river running through. People have to make a decision. Is it going to go north? Is it going to go south? And MEZEXIS, well, it doesn't matter where it's going because they've got the mutant in hand. They're trying to get those parachuters out of the sky, trying to get an easy pluck, and it just looks like they might get some freebies here because they are in no man's land. They have no cover. They have but trees to run up against, and some easy points might be just what the doctor ordered.
Well, points are, you can't win a tournament without them, Krotz. They're pretty important.
I've had a comment saying that points mean prizes, Gibson.
Yeah, unless it's on your driving license. The only place where we're getting points is a bad thing. Oh, you want to know something?
I love
right?
this circle. I love this circle. I'm going to throw it out there because this has the possibility to go to wild extents, to circles that I have only played once or twice in 5,000 hours of PUBG. And if it goes there, I'm going to lose it. But everywhere else that is open, that's available, where this could end, is still exhilarating. We're seeing George, we're seeing Crates, we're seeing Everest, and we all know that all of these are high action, and they are just insane final circles.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm 100% down. I also like, I have a dark side. You know that little liver island?
No, Gibson,
the
no.
liver island circle's nasty. And Imperium and I had it earlier on in the games of this tournament, and it just leads to some mayhem.
You're not allowed to say that.
Liver Island?
That circle is cursed. That circle is cursed. I hate it. And only because I played it last week and I got absolutely slapped trying to seal Team 6 it, coming up from Rotok, trying to swim over to Liver Island, and I literally poked my head up for a breath and I got canine. So, no, Gibson, we don't like those circles.
So what you're saying is that Liver Island circle does more damage than the average Irishman does to their liver?
What I'm saying is it doesn't deliver the end game that I want. Honored Souls, though, they have started at Snake. They're fanning out. They've got vehicles. They're ready to set up. But we look at that mini-map. Gibson. Gatka, vacant. Shooting range, vacant. Dare I say it? Zaki, vacant.
Severny?
There's a lot of real estate. Gibson, I don't want a Severny finish, please. Let's not mention that name. But there's a lot of prime real estate free.
Mhm.
And there's going to be a lot of teams coming in on that eastern side of the zone. We're already seeing the congestion. We already know that Influence Rage and Infinity, they share Yasnaya. But how many teams are going to have to come through there? And if they prosper, if they peacock, like we talked about last night, how much time can they waste before everyone else is going to get interested in that fight and start to wade their way in?
Well, that is the question on everybody's lips right now, because whenever you're taking, this is the point, Crop, where if we're being honest, a lot of these teams are probably thinking some of that real estate's taken already, but it's not. And they're kind of like, is it? Isn't it? Will I go there? Will I not? Do you know what I think's a very underrated spot in a zone like this, though? Castle Ruins. Just playing on top of that spot of the map, because everybody knows in PUBG, there is no such thing. In PUBG Mobile, there is no land shift. So the river can be in right to the end. If you get on top of Castle Ruins and things pop your way, you've got the high ground. You've got lots of cover. And it can be a platform to put you on top of the game.
Now, before I started playing PUBG Mobile, in the early days of PUBG PC, the ruins, the castles, the river finishes were abundant. But more importantly, there's a crash going on now, and Nova and INCO, they're about to clash horns. Look at the amount of frags. Once again, INCO, they're living up to the name. The UAZ comes in. It's Michael Bay all over again, but kindness drops down, descends from the heavens. Batman's over, but the nade is good. Just spraying out with that UMP, trying to catch the members off guard. He's done enough damage. He's holding his own by himself. 2 members down, slithering, crawling, hoping for a way out, but kindness holding on.
Yeah, Kindness doing a fantastic job, and you said that they were trying to make it a Michael Bay film, Crop. Well, it's just been turned into an M. Night Shyamalan film with a twist like that, with Nova and the one-man army holding it back.
QZ, that snapback was disgusting. That flick was unreal. Wow.
I like it.
Holy.
I'm all about that life, Crop. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just jealous. Wow. That was disgusting. Nova, though, they reap the rewards. They're going to lit up. They're going to get looted and booted. They're going to get ready to make their way on into that zone. Now they can go up to Potato Hill. They can get that scouting ground. They can just play at their own tempo, because they know where everyone landed. They saw where everyone was flying with those lovely parachutes. And they know that they're relatively free and easy right now.
Yeah, I like that idea as well of using Potato Hill to scout, look down into Chinky. School Apps is still completely vacant as well. And we will see where the zone's going to pop in about a minute and a half. Elsewhere around the zone, I'm looking up to the north. WARMASTERs were there. They're taking a gamble and a half. If you look where they're moving themselves to right now. Further up to the north, Team Souls making a similar move. Loops heading towards Severny, or even that warehouse triple split that you see sometimes. But look, cast your eye down to Millie Island. Team QUESO.
I tell you what I love right now is every team that landed on the north is spread themselves out along the coast. Every team on the south has spread themselves out along the coast. Yes, Team QUESO, they started on Millie Island. They were rewarded with a Yasnaya circle that they won, which they definitely shouldn't have. But right now, every other team in this lobby, they've got their serious boots on. They are focusing on the coast, and they are playing for every eventuation of that circle going north or south. And this is going to explode, Gibson. This is going to reach fever point. There are 8 teams on adjacent sides of the shore. And when that circle pops, it is going to be chaos.
Well, and Crop, we are playing games on phones, and we're going to see who the King of the North is going to be.
Oh my goodness. It still remains. The river's in. Yes, it's a little bit more skewed to the north. Yes, it is favouring that. But again, we talked about how many teams have set themselves up on the bridges, on the crosses, ready for each eventuation. Now, teams are going to realise that, yes, we set ourselves up to cross early. But we're still going to be further south than other teams that have already set themselves up in the north, ready for it. Do we bridge camp? Do we wait? Do we collect up everyone coming in late? And that's just going to open up the north. It's going to allow teams to get more established, but it is going to be a frag fest on this southwest side of the zone.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about bridge camping in the north, though, Crod, is the fact that all the terrain around the bridges are looking down on top of them. So when you bridge camp, you attract a lot of attention your way.
It's that double-edged sword, Gibson. It's about knowing your surroundings. It's about using the intel of gunshots around you. It's about leaving an anchor to survey the area. And that's why we see these teams at the top where they are, because they do the checklist. There is a checklist in PUBG, whether you like it or not. There are things that you need to check off the board. Is your back clear? Are you safe? Can you camp this? Do you have the lines of sight to make yourself safe? If you don't do one of those aspects, it is the domino effect. You will get picked apart. And that's what these teams need to weigh up. Do we go center zone? Do we play for endgame? Or do we wait for the eliminations to come to us?
Well, that is the decision that Rafa has made. He is waiting for the game to come to him as he is set up on the bridge camp just by Liver Island. Team MANDRAKES, they're on the move. Team QUESO finally making their way north, but they've got themselves some neighbors on the move. An intense game. Well, Rafa set up the bridge camp and he was unable to get it. He's actually going to get knocked himself. And, oh no, if you're going to set up a bridge camp, you gotta be more effective than that.
CXC realized that there was only one gun firing and decides to hop on out and decapitate the member waiting there, but it's not over. The rest of the members waiting at Cube, just on that crossroad, just waiting there. And ATON, they can't rest easy because now Nova are getting involved and they are pinched in a sandwich that I would not want to be on that fateful Liver Island that you mentioned.
Yeah, and they're throwing smokes behind them and they're going to bail on out of the situation. I think CXE wants to confirm out that kill because he knows that every little point has an impact. Cooking that nade. Well, that's an interesting way of fishing right there, Crod, and it worked.
I think they, in Texas, they call it dynamite in a barrel.
Oh no, fire in the hole as that will pick up an elimination right there. Nova, well, they're going to know that Liver Island has been, and Crod, I just saw what you saw.
My heart can't take it.
I just saw what you saw.
The circle shifted. It's still 50-50. And now everyone is in dismay. They've set up, they've adjusted, and now MEZEXIS is getting absolutely picked apart by Loops. They had a staggering day yesterday. Can they repeat history? Can they surge on up to the top? Well, they were absolute menaces yesterday. The Reds is coming up. MEZEXIS dreams. Will their dreams be memes or will they be picked apart? It looks like they're going to be picked apart. It's by that old name that we realize and love. It's Tico.
Yeah, Toiko from Loops just doing damage, and this is that little section of the map that I like to call the Sammy, the Sammy Road, because there's a team in Europe called the Sammy Gamers, and they love playing out of that position when they can. It can be so powerful.
It is. It's so powerful, but it's timing. Is it the right circle? Is it the right time? And this, certainly not. If you want to hold out Team Souls, yes. If you want to win the game, no. And you need to pick your moment. They're taking losses now. Oh my god, Michael Bay collects that kill as the vehicle explodes and takes Dimir, god of the underworld. But he is going to be sent to the underworld. And now Team Souls mounting a comeback and starting to take numbers back to their own side.
Yeah, and I've just noticed that Team QUESO have also started to get picked apart by the MANDRAKES. And that engagement, Team Souls on the move, racing the blue. That zone, though, positions of power. We've got two teams on top of Everest, and it is Team QUESO and the MANDRAKES. Team QUESO, 2 members down. Little smoke to provide some cover. Drive-by rocket up from the MANDRAKES. Acid turning his attention, but Ayala will be wiped. And Mono getting the healing hands of his coach as they look to stay inside the fight. It's a 3 versus 2 because Mono ain't resable. And honestly, I'd say Team QUESO are pretty lucky that they haven't been rocked up on yet. But as I say that, here comes Nova.
Nova in the background, but we heard that MK14 ring out. It's on full auto. That thing is absolutely devastating, and we've seen the recoil control of these players. Team Mandrake with the high ground, and now Team QUESO with the threat of Nova in the backs, it's becoming very cramped. It's becoming very claustrophobic. So nades raining down, hellfire descending on them. And they were the kings of Erangel yesterday, and that crown's been ripped off their heads tonight, Gibson.
Yeah, it's not going to plan whatsoever. J-Hose up on top of Everest. Jordan, low rise are actually rocking on up as well as Gary gets the knock. Nova are going to get the knockdown too as all these teams pick each other apart. And Mono says, I'm not going to fight you, Mano. I'm just going to get on out of here. Self-preservation activated. And Crot, remember I spoke about playing around ruins and playing around castle. We'll look at the zone.
Gibson, this is giving me flashbacks. 2017 when I used to play comp, and I'm all for it. I'm loving it. And this circle, it haunts me and it brings me daydreams. I love this. I've won games here, I've lost games here, but for everyone on Everest, it's a hard descent. Nova in the power position, they can gatekeep Mandrakes. They've already put Team Queso to the wire. One player left, sculling off, tail between the legs. But look at that North Shore, look at Georgia Pole, look at that bridge. It is going to be chaos, and we are going to see 44 players drop to, I would say, probably about 15 in the next minute or two.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that you consider there's still 44 players alive inside the circle. Z8 still in North George. Warmongers the same. Zohan, well, they say don't mess with the Zohan. Well, he messes with himself as that vehicle will blow on up and get the knock on him. Igor continues the bleed as he turns his attention to Choco. Nova still fighting it out here on top of Everest, though. The Mandrakes fighting their way down the hill. And this is a tough fight. And look at this. Bruno getting a knock onto a completely different team as Infinity rocked up behind them.
This is crazy. There are so many teams involved in this. There are so many lines of sight. And everyone is relishing the chance to get points here. But Mandrakes, with the high ground, with the numbers, they're the ones that are going to be losing out the most here. Even though they're surging forward, they're keeping all four up. They're trying to mount it, but they have the chips, the odds against them as everyone's looking at them. Every line of sight is against them, but they're still keeping so many up. Acid, disgusting yesterday. Nova stand in front of them, and once they get that clear, well, that Infinity player knocked on a rock below them.
Oh,
they might have a free rotate out here.
It is absolutely mental on top of Everest as these teams fight it out to be king of the hill. But Crop, the hill ain't going to be in the zone for much longer, as we're going to see that shift in about 45 seconds. Gunfire spraying on out as Bruno is forced to fall back. Mandrakes with still 4 players inside the fight, but they have been using so much utility. The helmets, the vests taking a battering, and now with the dirty big shotgun in the hand of Bruno Crot, well, Nova's day could be about to be ruined.
Indeed, and that point that you just made about the helmets, the vests being burnt out, they've been fighting tooth and nail for the last couple of zones. Even if they manage to wipe out Nova and descend from Everest, they are going to have a war ahead of them. And with the high ground, with no cover in sight, every gun is going to be pointing at them, and it's such a horrible dash from Drakes. They've been swept. QZ has managed to get behind them. This is an incredible play, and he might just be about to pick them apart from the blue as a last final act to save his team.
Yeah, I absolutely love the flank. He jump punched his way up the hill, and he's drunk punching down the members of Mandrakes as one of them will get knocked and eliminated. QZ and Koi, 2 members of Nova, and here comes the cavalry as the last member of Nova that's not in this fight rocks on up. Jordan fighting it out, and Crot looking at the meds of these teams. Well, this is gonna massively impact them in the late game for whichever team eventually does win this battle.
It is indeed, but Nova now taking the fight to Mandrakes. They were in a position of power. One trade for another, but Acid with that flank is going to be huge. It does look like it is going away, but QZZ, he falls eventually in the Drakes. Well, Acid still on his feet. He's going to have to get some reses off, but that zone is chunking. It hits hard, but that circle is favouring them a little bit. It's pulled back. They might be able to play the precipice of Everest here and still maintain that high ground, and dips to rain down terror on everyone that needs to get in, because Gibson, there's only one player that I can see in the zone as it stands.
Yeah, Rafinha, he's driving to the edge of the... He's actually driven out of the zone, Crot, as Rise are going to go pick up the rest of the team and get ready to fight. Because if we look, coming on the land is Jer from MEZEXIS Dreams. And, well, he came up onto the shore and he got absolutely picked apart. And now the move begins. Loops crossing the bridge as Influence Rage turn their attention on the Chief, and it's going to be Lukaku from across the way that gets that knock. Z8 Influence Rage all fighting at the edge of the zone. Big spray coming in from Law as he gets the knock on to Lukaku and turns his attention to the rest of Z8. Underhands that arm up and over, and it bounces into the smoke, but will it take anybody with it? Federal gunning foot to the floor across the bridge. Lukaku should get cleaned out, as will Shive Baby, as another member falls at Z8. It's all falling apart for them. And Influence Rage, 3 members up, 1 member knocked, 6 points on the board. Crot, they are having a big impact in game number 2 tonight.
It's all about Law. Law is laying down exactly his name, as now 1 member's got ahead of them, laying down the mollies, and now they've got them in a vice grip. They have the control, they have the pressure, and they are just absolutely decimating Z8. Nade comes in, and it's just not a fun time here. The spread has come out. Influence Rage, they're influencing this map dramatically, but Federal's gonna go down. It's from Rise, and no, the backstab, the lay of the land, that map control coming out as 1 4s, 2 4s, and it's all on the shoulders of Law, and I don't think he's gonna be much longer for this world.
Well, he has hit the deck as he tries to just side-swipe his way into the smoke to pop one of those first aid kits. I'm sure his teammate will be crawling in behind him, and the shots come in. His teammate falls, but he is still alive. Poiko jumps on up to get the knock on to Rafinha as he was pushing in to take out Law. Influence Rage, just 1 member left alive. But another big point performance. That's a big nade.
No, that nade is huge, but doesn't quite collect it. Oh my god, there's so many solos scuttering on the edge. They're all in their bellies. They're slithering forward, but no one knows exactly where the other one is. The zone is going to start to take names, but look at the control. Rise and Drakes, they have the numbers. They have the high ground, but it's not safe. This is a disgusting zone. It's so hard for everyone to descend and ascend into that playable area. Get that real estate and start to blockade everyone else out with the solos, with every line of sight. This is going to be a nail bite, and no one is safe. Not a tree, not a rock, nowhere, because there are so many lines of sight. There are so many solos. Everyone can catch you off guard. And Gibson, I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, and Crot, all those snakes at the edge of the zone that are pulling on their bellies, they're going to have to scale that hill. Get it? Scale. Get it? Snake.
That was fantastic.
Mufasa firing towards EXG now at the edge of the zone, as well as Rise in a great position to take the win. Influence Rage, the only one of our top teams now, making it into the end game. Big opportunity for them to put some points on the board, and for the likes of VIVO, Keed, Crot, who are not playing in this lobby, this is a tough watch. They want Law to go out, and they're going to be thanking Mufasa from Rise for getting that elimination and preventing any more placement points. But I'm looking at the zone and the Mandrakes, Crot. If they can push back Rise here, they're in a great position to win this game.
But look at where Gary is. Gary's anchoring. He's holding the line. He's on the edge of the south side of that zone. He's going to be laying down the pressure. He's watching Aston. He's watching Bruno. He's allowing the other members just to sweep up those solos on the south edge, allowing them to do the work and just opening up the gap, oppressing the Mandrakes and not giving them anything. They've been great. They came in from qualifiers. They've held their own. But this is just showing the class of Rise. They've got a plan. They've got an anchor. And Gary, we've seen him do disgusting things in final circles, and he is just holding the line right now.
Yeah, he's on the edge of the zone. He's got a weapon in hand. And will we see Rise rising up the table if they can get the win here? Or can the Mandrakes conjure up something special to put a little bit of magic into this lobby to get the win? EXG, 2 up. Rise, 3 up. Mandrakes, I believe that they have 2 up. And just the solo little Pulse. Over by the edge of the blue, the zone shift crowd has just played right into the hands of Rise.
It has indeed, but they need to realize that it is theirs to own. They need to act fast and they need to take that away from Acid. Acid, we saw what he did yesterday in Yasnaya. He had the long angles. He had but a window and a door, and he was collecting names, collecting dog tags, collecting eliminations like they were nothing. They cannot forget about him. Gary remaining diligent. There are 4 teams left. This is insane. The circle, not one that we see very often. There is nothing to call home. But Gibson, Rise, they look dominant here. They need to hold their nerve. They need to not bottle this. And they need to take it away from everyone in the chase for that title.
Yeah, they're setting up border patrol here, Crowd, as they move to the edge of the zone on both sides to prevent anybody from moving on in. Pulse steps on up with a spray. Is he going to get the knock? Yes, he does. He gets one, and he drops back into cover. Rise now. They get a knock on to EXG. Pulse gets the knock on to Nunez. Drake gets the knock on to Mufasa. It's all falling apart at the seams for Rise. But Gary steps on up. It's a 2-team shootout now. It's a 1v1 of standing players. As Pulse is looking to confirm as many points as he can. There's that last one. It's a mano in the final circle. And Pulse is going to start unleashing nades up on top of that hill. Gary, I hope you're wearing a hard hat, because that's right next door. And it does about 80 damage. And Crot, it's going to buy him a little bit of time to res or to heal, and Pulse to do a little bit of looting here by the buggy. Oh no, this nade could be massive.
It could be in that buggy. We've already seen how they explode and if it lands, slap bangs on it. But no, it's just a little bit of overcooked. Gary isn't challenging his ordering in a Gordon Ramsay. But now Pulse surging forward. He's already done some damage and he's managed to loot that body, get some more utility in his back pocket. But those nades, they work as a double-edged sword. Sometimes, Gibson, the arc gives your position away, and Gary, an experienced player, a great player, might be able to decipher just where Pulse is.
Yeah, and Pulse is just sneaking his way, crawling up the edge of the hill as these 2 alpha males move closer and closer together in this hunt for dominance. Crotch, where is David Attenborough when you need him?
Gibbs. Gary's keeping still.
Uh-huh.
He's waiting for that sound cue. Pulse is being proactive, which of course in this situation you should be. But Gary, with the zone on the edge, it's perfect. He's waiting for any indication.
Yeah, and Pulse is giving away the position.
He has indeed. Gary still remaining silent now, pulls out an aid, knows exactly where he is, could be about to unleash hell down. He's going to follow it up, surely. No, it goes a little bit too far. And Pulse now might have an indication where it is. It's even intelligence, it's even numbers, it's even going into the end game. Gibson, I'm biting my nails here, man.
Oh, both these players. And look, Pulse is now wrapping back around the other way. Gary has no clue. He's looking the wrong way. Pulse, stand up. If you stand up, you will be rewarded. And he crawls back again. The blue zone beginning to tickle his toes as he moves closer. Gary, I think he just spotted him. No, he didn't. He can't see him. He sees him. He stands up. He gets the kill. Z8 win it out. And they get the big chicken dinner in the final game. And the proactivity of Z8 wins that one out as Poulsen is the man of the moment.
Gibson, you heard that laugh from production. I nearly fell off my chair then. He had no right in winning that. The third person perspective firmly in the favour of Gary, looking over that hill, waiting for any aspect of that helmet to rear its little head. And he popped up. He had the information. He clutched it. And Gibson, I nearly fell off my chair. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it is such a game, Crot. And honestly, that kind of plays into the favor of the top 4 whenever it isn't one of the top 4 getting the win. It keeps everybody within touching distance of each other. Influence Rage picked up a couple of points. Is it enough to put them right onto the heels of the top 2? Not quite sure. We'll find out in a little while. But if you're Vivo keyed, if you are one of those teams in the group that sat out that time around, you are so thankful that Influence Rage were not able to get that chicken dinner.
Oh, absolutely. But like we said, Gibson, there were just but 1 or 2 teams to worry about. That's not the case anymore. Going into the last day, there are 4 teams, 5 teams that you need to worry about. And everyone's fragging out. Everyone knows that this is the last day and they have to bring their A game. And Gibson, this is a different lobby to what we've been watching for the last 8 play days.
It really has been. And this is when the pressure really turns up on those teams that are in the hunt, because everything you do today is scrutinized. Everything you do today can win or lose you the game. There is no point thinking about previous play days. There is no point thinking about what you could have done in the past. It is what can you do today to win you out this tournament. And Crot with a massive prize pool up for grabs and only 3 games left. We are going to know within the next 2 hours who your Snapdragon Conquest Master Series winners are.
Indeed we are, but Rise Esports, they take 26 points. Z8, they've been quiet over the course of the tournament, but 21 points there. The Mandrakes, we've talked about them all night. 17, Influence Rage again in the hunt. 3rd, coming into tonight. They put big points on the board. Big points on the board. I'm looking elsewhere.
Numbers. Big numbers.
Gibson, this is nail-biting. Every game is chopping and changing the leaderboard in a way that everyone can have an impact on not only the top 1, 2, 3, but all the way down the leaderboard. And we talked about that prize pool. It's huge. And that prize pool trickles all the way on down. It's going to have a knock-on effect. You need to play your A game. You need to get those points. And my oh my, we are being treated to some delightful PUBG tonight.
Yes, we are, as we see the second half of the match ranking. MEZEXIS Dreams with 3 points, ATON with 3 points, and 1 point each for Team Souls, Team QUESO, and Infinity. Let's look at the stats of your winners of that game. Let's see how they got it. 6 eliminations, 1,300 damage, 400 heals. Z8 win it out. And to be honest, Crot, when Influence Rage turned their attention to them on the other side of the road, about 3 or 4 phases before endgame, it looked like it was all over. But my God, did Paulson play that perfectly as a solo.
Couldn't agree with you more there. And they disengaged, they played their time, they bided it, they got the position, they clutched up the game. And it just shows they laid down the damage because they were in an alpha position. They didn't have to heal because they had the cover, and they snatched the game away. 16 elims, and wow, what a performance coming into the end game. But again, it's not one of our top 8. It's going to have an effect on the leaderboard. It's just adding to the drama, and I love this. But we're going to go and look at the top players for the previous game. Oh, Mufasa, he's up there. Loops again, and Nunez. We're like Rise and Loops. The last 2 days have been insane, Gibson.
Loops, I told you they're a last couple of days team as they pop on up. But let's look at the overall leaderboard and how that has left things standing. Influence Rage move up to 2nd with every team up there with the same amount of games played. Crot, oh my God, this is tense.
Oh my God, Alpha 7. They came into the day in the lead. They are now 11 points off the pace. Influence Rage overtake them by 5 points. INCO just 12 behind them. Gibson, this is insane, the drama. We talked about it. And wow, we've got 3 games and I can't call it. It's going to be exhilarating. Rise again after that sick performance. Nova as well. They're so close. But Gibson, 9th to 16th is so close. It's so close.
Yeah, just
40 points between it. It's 40 points. It's insane. It's insane. 3 bad games and 2 good games from any teams can see them leapfrog over and over and over again. And it's just a credit to every single one of these players and the lobby itself, and what a tournament that Snapdragon put on. They have put such exhilarating players in the same lobby, and it's just tooth and nail, point for point. And this is what we love. This is what the drama we come back for.
Yeah, well, Krot, there's only 2 more opportunities for every team in this lobby to finalize up their scores, as we have 3 maps left tonight. So every single team has 2 more games to play. And Krot, we have just 2 more minutes, I'd say, until we're back on your screens, because we're going to jump on into a break.
International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back on into the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series, where we have just 3 games left with 2 opportunities for every single team to climb that table. 2 and 3 is 5, and that makes a 5-star performance. Krot, who can pull it out of the bag over these next 2 games?
I don't know, but that was some quick math there, Gibson, and I'm very impressed. But it's heating up. It's getting exhilarating, and this is exactly what we want. We don't like runaway, Gibson. We don't like runaway winners. We like the drama. We like it coming down to the last game. And if these teams continue on the path that they are marching right now, it's going to come down to that. And talking about marching, we're going into that Miramar, the Sandy Shores, and Gibson. On those Sandy Shores, what do you need?
Well, sand is what you need to make glass, and glass is what you have on a great phone. And if you want a great phone, you need to get one with a Snapdragon processor. If you're a fan of PUBG Mobile and you want the best performance possible, you got to play with a Snapdragon processor. You got HDR10, the highest contrast and bright colors possible. Plenty of color depth as well, which can help you differentiate friend from foe, and with the gaming quick touch and many more features, it is the best phone in the market for all your gaming needs. And Crot, if I wanted to have a little peek at what's going on over at Snapdragon, where would be the best place to look?
Well, you need to go over to the gram for Snapdragon Official, and then you go over to that little blue bird of Twitter for Snapdragon to find out all the deals, all the inside information on how you can get the latest and best processing power for your mobile phone. But Gibson, all of these players, they're all running Snapdragons, and we're into game number 4 of the night. Gibson, my oh my, it's close.
It is incredibly close right now, and one of our groups are going to sit this one out. And Alpha 7, they're inside this lobby. VIVO Key, they're heading to San Martin. They have just 2 chances left, so this is one of their final opportunities to differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack. And Crop, with a zone like that where a lot of it isn't even on the map,
Ooh,
well, that's going to make it interesting.
it is indeed. I mean, we look at that, we can't even see, I would say, what, 25% of the map on our screen, on the map view, because it's all unplayable. It's all cliffs that are outside the map. That means that this circle, yes, is zone number 1, but it's going to feel like a zone 2. Players need to move fast, efficiently to gain that real estate, to gain that land, and to get themselves set up, because these circles, they're not kind. And we've seen these zones shift further and further to the cliffs and make things very uncomfortable, because everyone's banking on it going away from the unplayable. But Gibson, PUBG circles at the moment, they're not kind.
No, definitely not. And these players, not only are they going to have to be fast, Cross, they're going to have to be furious if they want to impress their family with a big win at the end of this tournament. And with a circle like that, well, I'm not going to lie, we've seen the circle last night, Crot. This is a circle where VIVO Keyed usually can make a very good appeal on as they move over towards those valleys. And we spent a lot of time talking about how important those big valleys can be down towards Val Del Mar. As of right now, which teams do you see as being the best position? Because to me, I'm not going to lie, I really like the position right now that has been taken up by, I think that's GZ, just inside Monte Nuevo.
Monte Nuevo, always a power play. You've got the crossroads there. It means that there's plenty of vehicles. You can move wherever the circle may take you. And you're just at the precipice. You're in the center. You are the closest away from every corner of that circle. Corner of the circle. That's a bit of an oxymoron, but you know what I mean. But being central, having a crossroad, having actual roads on Miramar, it's like gold dust, Gibson.
Mm-hmm. It's gold dust as well, because we always talk about the fact that the Murado and the other vehicles inside this game, they prefer roads over the terrain. And the fact that you've got roads, they're essentially veins, Crop, in this section of the map. You have 2 or 3 main roads going from San Martin to Val Del Mar, and Val Del Mar up to El Pozo. And those are some fantastic spots to set yourself up on. I am looking at that zone, and I'm wondering right now about BULUC CHABTAN's position, because they're on the road that most likely the Black Dragons and ATON 7 are going to come down whenever they're looking to make their way into the zone. If you're BULUC CHABTAN, do you camp, or do you find yourself somewhere else to play?
It's that decision making where you weigh up the eliminations over the placement points. And yes, you are on a central road that is going to get a lot of attention. But are you confident enough? Do you know how to bridge camp or how to rotation camp the rainbows? Are you confident you're not going to lose anyone? Are you confident you can wipe the team out before they can have an effect on your game? Because at this stage, with just 2 games remaining, is it worth it?
Well, would you risk it for a chocolate biscuit is what the saying we would go from time to time. Now, we're looking at GZM. The stats, they're okay. 65 eliminations, 1,500 damage. Survivability, it pretty much says that they're slap bang in and around that middle ground over the course of this tournament so far. I have seen some signs of life, some potential for them to be a little bit better and things they can work on. And a bad tournament's not the worst thing in the world. It can provide you with the intel and the knowledge of the things that you did wrong. And you learn more from defeat than you do from victory.
I tell you what, Gibson. I used to think I was a great player until I started playing in comp and realised how bad I actually was. Playing against better players, playing against competitive players is the only way that you learn from your mistakes. And yes, the first season in a big league might be a crushing defeat, but you use it as a learning tool. And that is the most important lesson I can give to any aspiring team. Do not take loss as defeat. You take it as a learning experience.
Exactly. Everything, every day is a learning opportunity. Even for casters, we look back at casts and we're incredibly nitpicky. You know, the same way players are, we're nitpicky. We look at the things that we could always do better. And Montoya, well, let's see if he can do something pretty big from this position, because he is the front line of this defense against INCO right now. INCO, of course, did not play in the last lobby, and they are in the hunt for the win as well. If this was based on chicken dinners alone, they would be top of the pack by some margin. But the problem, as always, has been getting eliminations, Crot. And now that nade that arcs through the sky, well, it didn't quite hit the target.
I think they're looking at the two players on the road, but Montoya on a bit of an island here. Yes, he has the M24 that can make the difference. And yes, he is practicing his squats here, but INCO, not a team that you want to give time to, because they're veterans. They know the game. They know the score. And if you give them time, they'll spread out, they'll encapsulate you, they'll surround you and smother you. But those M24s, those bolties, they change the way that players peak. It's a one-shot down, Gibson.
I love it. I'm a big fan of a bolty. It's just so much fun to play with if you can hit your shots. But crap, this is PUBG Mobile. And if you miss your first shot with a bolty, you're going to get lasered by an AR back the other way. And these players with their 4x scopes on the M4 and sometimes even 6x scopes, well, they make it look so easy.
Indeed, but that's why you need a Snapdragon processor, so you've got the frames so you're not missing your first shot. Because we all know that frames win games, and it looks like INCO, well, Bucks and Chan, they're making the ascent, they're crashing on in, and they're trying to take the power away from INCO. INCO, though, players up high, they elevated ground, and as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I have the high ground, it's all over.
Well, Becker is up on that high ground, looking down towards BULUC CHABTAN, who have closed this distance. And oh my god, Vitaly! Where did that come out of as he gets the knock? And then it's followed up by another one straight away, and oh, it's been flushed. Becker still on the high ground. High ground, Montoya trapped inside the open warehouse. And Becker very aware of the presence of another member of BULUC CHABTAN. Montoya. Oh no, it's not looking good as V2 wraps on up. And well, BULUC CHABTAN, as positive as this looked, they're getting wrapped around by INCO. And you just get the feeling that this could be that for this BULUC CHABTAN side in game number 4 of the night. Game number 4. Three.
INCO have been so good at defending buildings, compounds. We saw it yesterday when they got their win, and now they're just continuing to show why they are the impenetrable force. 1 force, 2 force, 3 force, and it doesn't look like they're even going to take a knock here as they continue to surge forward. Oh, one might go into favor, but no, it looks like they're looking to wipe it clear, as it is just M2M alone, living on a prayer. But the full wolf pack surging forward is INCO. They might have a lion as a logo, but they are the wolves in sheep's clothing, wiping that nice and clean. Smokes out, getting looted and booted, and ready to march forward into the next zone.
Yeah, and another team that's getting sent to the lobby could potentially be MEZEXIS Dreams, as 2 members are down, 1 member is out. Marco Pape falls. An intense game, pick up a little squad wipe of their own. 10 minutes gone, 2 teams out of this lobby. And as we look, will INCO top right now of this lobby with 4 eliminations as our intense game. And I'm looking at the zone. VIVO keyed. Korea Barbecue are starting to push up onto them, and this could be absolutely massive because we know the Korean barbecue lovers, they can go head to head with the top teams.
Yeah, this is the thing, is Korean barbecue lovers, they can frag, they can take the 1v1s, and oh, Grenlin, I love it. If you get killed like this, I'm just gonna straight up PayPal him $10. Let's call it $10. Straight up. We love a pan, but VIVO, Grenlin is very disconnected. Oh no, Alpha, Revo, the MVP for the whole tournament, collecting one of the Drakes, and it's going to be Bruno. Bruno's been a potent force for them, so that's a big loss, as the high ground real estate game is firmly in the favor of Alpha 7 and VIVO keyed. And guess what they are, Gibson? They're 1 and 2.
And I have a question for you, Crop. Who is the MVP so far of this tournament?
Revo.
And who has got the high ground inside the zone?
It would be Revo.
So what does that tell you?
He's about to frag on out.
I love it. I love it when a plan comes together. Oh, VIVO keyed off in the distance. Korean barbecue lovers, well, they looked like they were ready to push on up, but nothing kind of came of that situation. Every other team is just about making their way inside the zone now. INCO have got themselves a great position after that engagement. VIVO keyed, they're hoping that this donut's up on their position. I'm looking at the 4 main urban areas in this zone. El Pozo, San Martin, Picato, and Monte Nuevo, and even Chimichera. All of them are completely uninhabited as this fight finally kicks off. We'll get to that point. Yeah, we'll get to that point in a minute.
I think everyone realizes that it's not going to go to any of the mainstay areas, and that's why VIVO keyed and Korean barbecue lovers are fighting so diligently over this area. I love where Korean barbecue lovers are in that little shanty town, but talking about it, Storm, they're laying down the law. 6x spray, absolutely taking out Z8, the previous game's winners, just taking points away from them, and that power struggle, that momentum that we often talk about, just ripped away from them. Storm, qualifying team, 3 eliminations to their name, and all 4 up on their feet, and high ground, Gibson.
Yeah, and that zone shifted over towards Picato, Croton. That ridge line between Power Grid and Picato. Where have we seen that before tonight?
I wonder, because I think we might have already seen that, but talking about the shanty town where Korean barbecue lovers were, well, it's being surged on by those mandrakes. Qualifying team, Jose gets in and takes Joey down. And it's looking like they're going to be picked apart very, very quickly. So up high, taking away those lines of sight, just keeping them guessing. Oh, through the slats. If he gets this, it's insane. Acid goes down. And Jordan as well. And it's not looking good. They're gone. Drakes are out. Korean barbecue lovers, well, they hold their ground. They held the shanty town. And they punished the Drakes who are in the top 8. Is that going to have a knock-on effect, Gibson?
Well, it could have a big impact because Drakes were inside. The Mandrakes were in that top 8. But Korean Bar... Oh my god, Revo, would you behave yourself?
Wow. That's why he's MVP.
It's... Honestly...
I want to say I'm speechless, but I'm used to it at this point. Disgusting, man.
And just phenomenal, spraying into the smoke, trying to flush out what happened as Demonor rocks on in to get that res. Alpha 7, they are currently, I believe, in 2nd place, looking to close the gap. ATON 7 with a big explosion on the WARMASTER. Doing some happy.
No way the nades come in. That's disgusting. That's
kill
not
feed
okay.
is a bit hot right now with the amount of players that are just falling apart over in this other engagement.
I tell you what's more interesting though is A7, yes, they're getting all these knocks, but they've only got 1 elimination. They're using it as time to rotate, to get that ground, to get that real estate. And that is an adult decision. That shows their pedigree because, yes, you can go for the frag points. Yes, you know that you're chasing the lead. But they're going to play for endgame. They know those big points come from placements. And that's exactly what they're working towards.
And look, you need both. You need eliminations, you need placement points, and Alpha 7 farm whenever they do that. And you look at the little split that Alpha 7 are setting up to the north of the zone. And could those be some sinister gates for some teams to try pass through?
I cannot believe we have a potential Mikado finish. This is insane. I love city finishes, and to get it in the center point of Miramar on the last day. Wow. This means it's going to get crazy. Teams are going to get desperate. They're going to crash for every corner of Mikado, for every potential hardcover real estate building that they can lay their hands on. And we already see every team in cars. This is going to get wild. It's going to look like a scene out of Mad Max with the desert, the sand, the cars. It's going to get crazy. And Gibson, I'm all for it on the final day.
Just need some madman standing on the back of a car playing a guitar, and we've got it all set up. Well, we don't need anyone playing a guitar. We got Becker playing the M4, and he will take Azor out of the lobby, turning his attention to Sam. And oh my God, Becker, transition,
no.
ABL.
You can't do that.
He just did.
You can't do that.
He just did.
But he did, yeah.
He's just Becker.
No, stop, please. You can't. Oh! Woo! Becker's on an absolute tear. He's going to take some damage from the bang bus, but the rest of the team are there. As now we get a confrontation between Loops and Trap. It's going to go down, and it's the Storm Boys that are surging forward, and they want to reignite that. They want to bring the winds. They want to bring the lightning. They want to bring the rain down on this lobby, but are they going to be allowed to do so? They're outside of the zone. They've got a while to get themselves in, and a lot of enemies to push their way through.
Yeah, and look, Black Dragons, and not only them, but INCO have turned their attention onto Vivo Keyed, as two members of that roster have now been knocked. Could this be bad news bears for Vivo Keyed inside Picado? Loops, though, still playing top of this hill, looking down to Storm Gaming. Oh my God, Doodoo. That nade was delivered, and it was first-class delivery right on top of him. And Chief, well, Chief, you gotta do something here, because you've got a hungry Storm coming your way.
What you said there, first class delivery, I mean, that was Amazon next day delivery to the face. That was unreal. But like you said, Vivo Keys, they crashed into Picado. They were punished for it. They've lost members. A7, they've had weak games so far, but they're all 4 up. INCO, all 4 up. Gibson, this is electric. It's going to come down to the wire. Loops, Chief, holding his nerve, using that trigger discipline, waiting for Storm to give themselves away, waiting for that open top Murado. He is the footsteps, and he's just going to catch one out in the open, sleeping, and it's a freebie, but can he follow it up? Can he punish Storm? He gets the initial spray. He is going to take some damage in return, but the third person perspective, the ridge, the hill is going to cross Chief here, and he just has to surge forward, try and find any lick of cover that he can, but is the line of sight in his favor.
Well, he's got a nade, and he's going to move back up on the hill as 7. And attention turned this way. The Murado, if it blows up, but there is reinforcements as Alan. But Alan's going to get knocked by Vitali, and he is going to flush out Chiefs. What is going on up on these hills?
It is just destruction of the highest caliber, but look at that circle. It's pulled away from Picado, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams situated in there, and they've just gone, oh no, we've been evicted. And look who is going to reap the rewards. Oh my goodness gracious, Revo just showing again why he's the MVP. That 4x M4 spray decimating from building up into that stadium, and he should be in the stadium because he's been putting on an absolute show this tournament.
Yeah, and Alpha 7 and INCO, we questioned their fragging. They have 8 eliminations plus the farm compound inside the zone. Are they going to go back-to-back on Miramar? Could that be the start of they could potentially hit 9 chicken dinners with this one and still not be top of the leaderboard, Crot.
That would be insane. That would be insane. But again, that just lays down the building blocks for, yes, we're great at endgame. Yes, we're great at laying down the law and clutching up games, but we need to work on our fragging. We need to work on our confidence to take the fight, because we can clearly win the fights. We win the games. We get those chicken dinners. But why are we not more aggressive? Because we are a solid unit. And that is something that is just going to be credible, and they can take away from this tournament. Talking about this tournament, though, Lucky is going to find 1, 2, and ATON. Oh, they're punishing Intense right now.
Oh, they have got Intense absolutely pinned behind this buggy, and they're pushing up even harder to wipe them out. And I see GZ off on the edge of this gunfight as well. Maybe they could pop on up and do some damage in a few moments as they look over their ridge. Vivo Keed getting pushed now as well by the Black Dragons. Diego, nade ready, bounces it down the stairs. Nobody is home though, and well, ENXAME, they've got a knock on the Revo as well. It's just all getting mental right now. And that is a great nade as Diego knocks Duxada.
More importantly, though, Revo, before he went down, actually managed to knock one of the Vivo keys. So the Vivo keys not full strength. Well, it's only Diego up, and now the Black Dragon surging forward. 2 men, and it's not going to be an end story for Vivo Key, as Revo is going to be credited with that kill. And so are the Black Dragons. A7, they stay up. 3 kills their name. 3 players up. INCO with the big total. But the power struggle for those top spots is still going on. And it's twisting and turning in every single game. Gives them Vivo Key going out. That is momentous for the last day.
Yeah, and Crot, do you want to know something incredible, right? This just came into my head. ENCO,
Go on.
how many chicken dinners do they have?
7, I think. Oh, no, 8.
8. How many games have they played? 24. They have won 33%. 1 out of every 3 games they have played in, they have won. And there is 16 teams in every lobby. That is huge as Alpha 7 boy out as well to the Black Dragons.
No. Gate kept. Black Dragons moved efficiently. They used the fray between Vivo Key and A7 to move forward to get into zone. Now they pick apart A7, surging towards that top spot. But look, INCO, they have put down the chicken dinners. They have been eating well. Are they about to continue that? Or are they about to just get rid of that diet and just get protein all up in their lips?
Well, we will find out. ATON 7 pushing on to GZM right now. And this is a big gunfight because ATON 7, they have 8 eliminations, I believe, in this one already. They're having a big game. Just 4 teams left, 13 players alive. ATON 7 turning on the pressure. ENCO are pushing towards Choco by the drop on the map screen, Crot, and this is a big push by ENCO right now.
It's huge because they've seized the ground. They've got the real estate. They've taken full control of the map. They've used the distraction between GZ and ATON 7 to push up, take every position of power away, and now they're just going to be able to lap up third party everything they want to. The nades might come in from Jocko, but it's going to be to no avail. Gets in the buggy, tries to skirt away, tries to do as much as he can, but INCO, they look insane right now. But let's not forget about those Black Dragons. They're outside, they're creeping, they're crawling up, and they might be the Joker in the pack right now.
Yeah, the Black Dragons, more nades coming on as Choco takes even more damage. And ENCO, well, Becker is getting rezzed inside the smoke. You spoke about the Black Dragons. Well, they're getting ready to get mobile and pushing a big nade coming in from ENCO as Black Dragons will lose another member. Becker back on his feet. 3 teams left now. It's just GZM, ATON 7, and ENCO fighting it out for the win. And Crot, could ENCO be about to take win number 9? Or will it be stolen away?
They look like they have the real estate, the position of power, but the spray is so good from Lucky, but instantly traded back out. It looks like it's a position, a tussle for power, but there are 3 teams. We cannot forget that 3 still up for INCO. They've been so good in the end game. They've been so powerful, but what do the numbers say? The spread is thin from ATON, but GZ, they're not moving on it. They're not doing anything. They're being too passive. And for me, that is going to be the determining factor. INCO, they have the ridge. They know where everyone is. And when the zone starts moving in, it's just going to force ATON and GZ together. And INCO are just going to be able to reap the rewards of this circle.
Yeah, but Crot, this is the thing. Even though GZ aren't being active, the zone shift will favour Choco. But in the main, it favours ENCO. But this is all going to play into the hands of ENCO, like you said, because ENCO are fighting one fight. GZ are fighting one fight. The 3 members of ATON 7 are fighting on 2 fronts, and it is stretching them oh so thin right now. And I am looking at INCO. They've got great weapons. They've got 4 men up, and now with that gunfire, that spray going on to Hulk, the map is being drawn even clearer for the members of INCO as they have decided to push on up towards CXC and Choco. And Crot, I'm starting to worry for ATON 7 because multiple teams closing in on them right now as Vitali peeks on up. The spray coming around. CXC gets the knock. Nene gets one back the other way as members are falling left, right, and center. There's just 2 members of INCO left alive, 2 members of ATON 7 left alive, and GZ are pushing hard onto it. And that's it. They're out. It's between INCO and GZM for the win.
Only 2 members up, 50 HP apiece, and now GMZ can surge forward. They chose their time to strike, but now the fire coming in from the ridge, coming in from the hill, and it is all against GMZ. They have to surge forward. They have everything against them, but the numbers are firmly in their favor until that nade lands and takes the power away from them. A follow-up nade might be just as good. I'm going to wait for that to explode. Another one comes up and over, and INCO, this is just showing why they've got so many chicken dinners. They are dominant in the end game. They rip every aspect, every position away, every position of power, and this is why they are up in the fight for the title.
And they got the res. They have 3 men up now. It's a 3v2. Lucas, though, will get the knock on the Nenny, the first line. As INCO are back to a 2. And the sprint is on. Becker, jump punch, silent flank. Coming on up. Wipes out Lucas. And now, peek over the hill, Becker. Peek over the hill. Make the win for INCO. Win number 9 is awaiting. History is awaiting. I don't think any team has been as dominant in the late game as INCO has, as they have now won nearly 40% of the games they have played in.
Absolutely insane, and just a credit to their game sense, their discipline, and just how mature they are as a team to disengage when they need to realize that an early point, an early knock, an early elimination is worth nothing compared to the glory of a chicken dinner.
36% of the games they have played in, they've won, Crop. 36%. That is unheard of.
Absolutely wild. I'm literally lost for words. They play so well endgame, and we talk about them. Oh, they've only got 1-2 kills going into Zone 5. They come alive. They are a different beast. As long as they can get set up and established, they are different monsters. They just realize where everyone is. They listen to the shots. They watch the kill feed. They fan out. They take every bit of power, the high ground, the low ground, the hard cover, and they just wait and decimate every team.
31.
We talked about how many points they had, how many eliminations they had. They had 1 when we first touched them. They finished on 16 and 31 points. INCO, still in the running, can still be the underdog story that we all want, and can absolutely decimate the top teams here.
I think they could be in 2nd or 3rd place now. That is how good of a day they're having. And they have put themselves in with a chance to win. VIVO keyed, only picking up 4 points as things get tighter and tighter. And now, Influence Rage are going to step back into the fray. But let's look on over at the stats of our team that won that map. Let's see how INCO got that win.
16 elims, 3,300 damage. Let's round it on up. And 1,200 healed. They were quiet. They bided their time. And they struck while the dagger was hot. They played it perfectly. And this is what we see from them. The most chicken dinners in the tournament. And to me, Gibson, playing for endgame. Playing for those chicken dinners. Eating nice and well. And collecting those endgame frags. It just shows a mature team. And the last day, Gibson, they're making a surge for the top.
9 chicken dinners. Let's look at our top of the stats as INCO absolutely dominate with 3 players in the top eliminations, 3 players in the top damage, and 3 players in the assists. Well, Crot, that just tells you they had a pretty good game, doesn't it?
I can't really add on that, can I? They've just dominated. Absolutely dominated. ATON, they come in. They look good. Alpha 7 Revo, the MVP of the whole tournament. He shows his face, but it is all about INCO in game number 3.
Maddox, put us out of our misery. Put that leaderboard on the screen. Let us see the top 4. He's building suspense. The drums are rolling. Who is on top? INCO! Ah! What?
No way! No way!
299 points. They take a 4-point lead. And now, Crot, Influence Rage, 1 game behind. INCO, VIVO, Key, and Alpha have 1 game left to play. Influence Rage have 2. Can Influence Rage put a big game on the board this time around and really tighten it up at the top?
So let's put it this way. Influence Rage, they have 1 game in hand. They need 14 points. All of the big dogs are off the board. If they have an average game and then send a surge in their game in hand, they can steal us away from 4th going into the last game, the last day of Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. Gibson, Vivo Keyed. When I cast for Froz a week and a half ago, they had a 70-point lead. What am I seeing right now? We talk about drama. We talk about suspense. This is going to come down to the last game, the last frag, the last elimination. I don't know how I'm going to cope. I'm old, Gibson. My heart might give up.
Well, Crot, we will have to wait and see, and we will not know who has won this tournament until the INCO has dried on the page that is this tournament. But let's get ready. Take a breather. There's just 2 games left, so let's jump into a 2-minute break. And when we come back, we'll have our penultimate game of the season of the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series.
International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back into the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. My name is Gibson. That handsome man below me is Crotch Stuff. We have 2 games left to go, and everything is on a knife edge.
Oh, it's incredible. You can't call me handsome. I will blush, but production providing us with quality memes as always. But yeah, it is on a knife edge. It is heating up, and it's that LATAM fever, and it's going to come down to the last game, Gibson, and I can't believe it. There was a 70-point lead on on Playdate 6. I'm freaking out. Our producer Matutuk has had to calm me down various times because I've had my head in my hands. I've been sweating, I've been dripping, and I don't know how this is going to go. There are so many teams in the running, and it is exhilarating.
Yeah, and speaking of running, they will be running the gauntlet on the one, the only Erangel for the last time tonight, for the last time this evening. We will see the green grass of home, as you like to call it. And one of our teams in this lobby, I believe, may be playing their last game of the night. This could be the last chance.
This is the thing that makes it so interesting with the rotating lobbies coming in. Your last performance with a game for the other teams to play, you need to put on a banger, because all you can do is sit, watch and wait and watch that lead dwindle down. And it's terrifying. It's horrifying. And as a player, as a caster, it's scary enough. But as a player, realizing that you might go from 1st to 3rd to 4th to 5th and out of the running, I cannot imagine the stress that these guys have. This is the most important game for me right now.
Yeah, well, as they like to say, pressure is for tires. But which of these players will be tired after tonight? Alpha 7 making their way up towards Zarky, VIVO Keyed. I believe, Crot, if I'm not wrong, this will be the last time we will see VIVO Keyed in this lobby. What can they do?
Well, they're going to need to put on a hell of an impression, because yesterday was a slow day for them. We watched that lead dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and oh, it's a fun set. Gibson, I'm not going to lie to you. I love a quarry finish. I love a McDonald's finish. I love a Gatka finish. We're not often Gibson. Oh, hello, Federal! Laying down the law.
Oh, well, guess what? Nito, aka Infinito, is finito, as that is him out of this one after that spray from Federal. And oh my god, you know, he's basically a anti-air defense missile there coming in from Influence Rage.
That is huge. Again, we've talked about the Yaz split, the Yaz power struggle, and for the most part, everyone's been kind of calm for the last few days and not really done anything. But Federal, we noticed the late parachute, a little bit of a misplay, and capitalized on it, and point in the bag, point in their back pocket. Gibson, we all know where they're standing right now.
Yeah, we do. Oh my god, Crot, 3 of the top 4 are playing in this. So Influence Rage are sitting this one out. You know what that means? They have the lobby all to themselves in the next game to try get the win. But my god, is this going to be a tough sit and a tough wait for them to see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I touched on before, is watching the other top dogs, the other top 4, do their thing, potentially frag out, get those eliminations, get that chicken dinner. It's going to be nail biting, because if that does happen, if there is a momentous game for any one of the teams in front of them or sniffing at their heels, they have to do so much work, and that pressure can get you. Yes, they're not going to have the resistance of the top dogs in their lobby and potentially a free reign of eliminations and that chicken dinner. But the pressure can affect you in so many ways that you don't realize until you're on a competitive stage.
I'm going to correct myself, Croc, because Influence Rage, INCO, Alpha 7, and VIVO Keyed are all playing in this one. So this is the show.
There is one team, isn't there? There is one team that's not in the top 5.
I think this is them.
Well, then this is the most important game then. It's Group B versus C.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to this realistically. After this, like we said, the rotations of the lobbies they're going to take out a lot of the top teams. It's going to leave an open gate. And for anyone that is not playing the last game, you need to rely on what you've done and just sit there and watch for 20 minutes. I cannot imagine a more stressful situation if I tried.
Yeah, well, Influence Rage, the next game is their game in hand, in reality. This is their last game with their competitors for the win. So this is their opportunity to shut down the rest of those players and give themselves an opportunity going into that final game. I know that the production behind the scenes have picked a team to win. You've picked a team that you think are going to win. I've picked one that I think are going to win. And we all have different ideas. That is how tight this lobby has been. Although, the team that have barely put a foot wrong tonight, they've played the zones to perfection, is INCO. They are currently playing inside Pachinki. And they are joined in there by EXG. And with the way that INCO are playing right now, they actually are wrapped all the way around those EXG players.
Yeah, this would be such a shame because INCO have put on such a surge, such a performance in the last 2 days to get themselves up there, to get themselves in the conversation for potentially even running away with the tournament. And if they lose a member here, now it could be devastating, but they are going to strike first and strike while the iron is hot. The damage does come forward, but it is going to be INCO that get the first knock. Can they capitalize on this? Can they march forward? Can they punish EX for stomping on their home ground?
Well, that's a big spray that came on from Vitaly on the wraparound. Becker now, he is going full speed ahead towards EXG as INCO know every single point matters now. They know they're fighting EXG, and that is a team that they could easily put to the sword based on the way that they have played. But EXG, this is your chance to have an impact on the tournament. This is your chance to be remembered. And if they can wipe out INCO right now, even though they will not end up making any money because of their placement, they could be making some big friends if they can wipe INCO out early.
Absolutely, doing so many teams a favor as INCO, like I said, they put on a surge. They've been dominant on every map. Those end games, those chicken dinners, we said they've got more than anyone, and anyone wiping them out right now would be doing 5-6 teams a favor, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. But Resistance is coming through, and it doesn't look like it's going to be all one way here.
Oh, V2 gets the knock onto Rafa King, but Coach Emmett elsewhere as Team QUESO turn their attention on the Influence Rage elsewhere. So 2 of our top 4 in engagements right now. But it looks like Vitaly and the rest of INCO are back on their feet. That nade from Vitaly is perfect as another member of EXG drops. There's just 1 player left. They've got 2 points on the board already. They're into the 200s. And they know exactly where he is. They're hounding him down. They're hunting him down. The Lions are attacking, and they open their jaws and consume EXG and the 4 points that go with them.
Insane from them. They systematically found the weak link, segregated from the team. Knock on knock on knock, and then the Lions roar as they show their pride, pick apart the team. All 4 members on their feet, 4 eliminations in their back pocket, and they can surge forward. But they wasted a lot of time on that, and we can see from the map that a lot of teams have started moving into that central area and getting that prime real estate. INCO now have to look for vehicles. They have to lick their wounds. They have to kind of reset a little bit and then think about their rotations, and knowing that they spent a good 8 minutes now on the clock fighting, they're going to be the outsiders right now.
Yeah, but the good thing is the fact that they are in Pachinki, they're in that great staging zone, so they are still inside the zone. We don't know where it's going to shift, but I know what you mean. Pachinki is a fantastic staging post. If you loot and run, move as soon as you can, and allows you to take prime position in the rest of the zone. When you get hot dropped in Pachinki, it turns things round. Influence Rage turning their attention on to Rise as GZM start poking them in the back. And Influence Rage, they lost 1 member. And how important could that be in the late game? They were 14 points behind going into this one with 2 games left to play. And now they've doubled down. They've got another point on the board. But with 4 points on the board for INCO, they're outpacing them right now.
I mean, with Federal and Law on the side, it's literally Judge Dredd in a team right now. These guys are monsters. They are forces of nature, and they have been just unstoppable. It doesn't matter. It's, again, much like that Alpha 7 situation. Yes, they might lose one early. Yes, they might lose two early. But if you allow them the space to stabilize, to get a prime position in zone, and fight back to back as an army of two, they can still drop big numbers and still get those chicken dinners. It doesn't matter the numbers. It doesn't matter the odds. Sometimes when you back an animal into the corner, they show their fangs, and that's exactly what they have been doing all night.
Yeah, and Federal's just plain and simply one of the best players in the Americas. Like, from what I've seen from him, he is incredible at what he does, and you would back him in a 1vx situation. I'd have nothing in my mind telling me that he cannot win those situations, depending, of course, on his position. Rise Esports, well, they've got themselves neighbors in the shape of Storm, as Rafinha will be the first player to get knocked. Oh my god, that nade was absolutely perfect. And we have just witnessed the fall of Rise. And on the drive-by, we see Influence Rage just picking or losing another player to BULUC CHABTAN.
And they're scrambling. They're trying to find somewhere to call home. But they're being dismantled on the rotations. They're a little bit late. Obviously, they had that fight. They wasted a bit of time. And now they have to run the gauntlet. But Chang set up. GMZ, they're set up. Everyone's set up. And they have to find a place to go home. Luckily, that southwest side of the map, completely free. Completely clear. But until you get past that Gatka, those double yellows split, it's a hard run, Gibson.
It's an incredibly difficult run and an incredibly difficult place to move. And what surprises me, Crot, is the West Coast. Where is everybody? You could draw a line from the Haitian hospital straight down to Primo. Apart from Alpha 7 just leaving George, there's nobody west of Quarry.
Yeah, it's so vacant, and this is what confuses me, because I know of a few circles, and they shift real hard south, southwest, west. Alpha 7, they're playing slow. They're riding the edge of the circle. They're waiting for anyone coming in late. They're going to get those free frags from anyone that's trying to out-heal. But they're also playing slow, because everyone that's in that central scrambling for the hard cover, scrambling for the prime positions, because there is a lot of fields. There isn't a lot of hard cover. There is a lot of segmented buildings. They're going to wipe each other out. And Alpha 7, they can come in late and just sweep on up.
And ENCO, well, was that ENCO that just rocked right on past VIVO Keyed? That could have been massive in this one. And VIVO Keyed, well, they've seen that opportunity. It's Honored Souls. My bad.
Are they chasing?
The colors.
They're trying to chase, but they just push on up. But for me, VIVO Keyed, disengaging, moving away, taking the hard cover, and just letting Honored Souls have what they want. That's an adult decision. They're in the running. And yes, they had the lead. It's been squandered. But now is the time. There are only 3 games left, and they need to be the more adult, the wiser team to clutch things out. Circle shifted Gibson. It's Quarry. It's Primosk. It's Ferry Pier. It's the Forest. This is going to be a wild one.
Oh, and I heard you were a wild one, Cross. This is going to be really, really fun. Alpha 7 straight on the move south, making their way to Primo. Nova on the move. And as I look, I'm checking the map out. Influence Rage, they're over towards the east. ENCO. Well, where did ENCO go? As I look onto the map right now, and I can't quite spot. Oh,
they're coming down by
Ferry
Dog
Pier.
Hill, by Navi.
Yeah.
They're coming down by Navi. But for me, Alpha 7, they get the free rotate on that west road. This is huge. They potentially can take the high rise and the forest and rain down Hellfire, because everyone's going to be focused on that northeast side of the map. The east side of the map. Look at how many teams are there. Looking at it, we've got 14 teams, 49 players. No one's got anywhere to call home. And it's a wild land out here. There are very few compounds that you can play and move out of and be effective here. You have to play ridges, you have to play height, you have to play forest. It's a double-edged sword.
I love forest endings too, Cron. I'm not going to lie, because every time you move from one tree to hide from one player, another one is just going to look at you. VIVO keyed, picking up a couple of big knocks towards the edge of the zone as well. It's getting very, very tight at the top. Alpha 7, they have suffered a couple of knocks as well over towards the edge. And as I look, I'm looking at that crystal ball, potential things that could happen right now. I'm going to call a very sticky situation in and around the forest for INCO, as Infinity and Influence Rage all start moving that way.
Yeah, you've also got Nova on the Primos side as well. They're going to be looking over. They're going to be listening to gunshots. It's a really awkward position. Yes, you've got the height. Yes, you've got the forest. But it's that thing that we talked about earlier. If you play it too early, it can punish you. And with people still in quarry, still on the high ground, we're looking over at Storm. They've got the high ground on the adjacent hill. It can be deadly.
And for Alan, is he going to be deadly? He's inside the shack. Riva was just scouting it out. Didn't quite see him. Team QUESO on the move here as well as... Oh my god. Netsuzi.
Oh my goodness.
1 HP in a dream as Revo. Well, Alan almost wiped him out. Another shot landed. Another one landed. And Revo, the tournament MVP. Could he be about to be wiped out? Our Alpha's chances of a win being slowly taken away. Crot going into today, they had one finger on the prize. And ever so slightly, these other teams are wedging one finger away at a time.
Yeah, they've kind of eased off, and this is the thing that I talked about, the conflicting style and the pressure getting to you. They played on the edge. We saw them be slow, cautious, and move their way in slowly, and they allowed Storm. They had that whole west side to themselves, and Storm, they came in, they evicted Alpha 7, and they've just made that west side control that they would have had if they'd been proactive useless. They're being forced into the compound. Yes, it's good. You've got the hard cover. But when you come to move out, your tire's probably gone. Oh, that's disgusting. Bucks and Cham, they're coming alive as well. All 4 up. 44 players though, Gibson. This circle does not house that many.
It does not. That's pretty similar to the situation we had earlier, Crotch. Exact same amount of players, 44 alive. And you said within the next couple of minutes it would whittle down to 15. And that whittle has slowly become a bleed as BULUC CHABTAN swing around the corner. And there go Team Souls. 4 teams wiped out now. BULUC CHABTAN, 4 eliminations. INCO, 4 eliminations. Influence Rage, 2. And Alpha 7, 0. Oh my god, this is getting so tight and so tense.
I cannot believe this. We've had another circle shift. It's come away from Primorsk. And oh, Alpha 7, they're set up. They're looking good. They do have only 3 members up, but the hardcover, with that west side control, with that compound to their name, they're looking good. They do need to reconsolidate. I don't really like where Swagon is, but he's the pro. I'm not going to contradict him. They do have a lot of high ground around them. They do have Storm still just thinking about getting involved. But talking about Storm, they're going to get picked on out. And, oh, INCO coming in to save the day for Storm. But it's going to be trade after trade after trade. What and forth. And only INCO are going to be the favourites here. But no, they're not for much longer because VIVO get involved as well.
And do VIVO push the knock? That is the situation for them now. This is VIVO's last chance, their last game inside the tournament, and they know that INCO are top. Do you push of that knock? And I am looking, Crot, and McGrellin has, and the rest of VIVO Keyed are starting to push in.
They need to. They need to. They don't have the numbers. They cannot be safe. They cannot be secure. And you know what? They're on the edge of the zone. They need to do something. If it's clearing this southeast side, that's what it's going to take. They need to do it, and they need to do it with confidence. And this is what I was talking about. Teams changing their play style. VIVO, when they're playing with confidence, when they take control of a map, they dominate. And that's what they need to do here to secure the victory, to secure their legacy, to secure that crown aloft their head.
Oh, it's all so tight. And Crot, the first ever PUBG mobile tournament I commentated on. Influence Rage lost to Alpha 7 by a singular point. Some team is going to get their heart broken. INCO, oh no, they've lost a player to a knock. And Storm Gaming pushing over this way towards Nova. It's getting very tense inside these moments. And as I look at the zone, VIVO.
Oh my goodness.
Alpha 7, what is going on?
Oh, the M16 just tap, but they're going to lose one in return from GZM, and it's going to be an even trade. But I am looking at this circle. It's disgusting, and so many of our top teams are on the edge, and they're not in, and they've got to fight through everyone. INCO, though, surging forward, the utility in hand that we know them to be so famous for. Black Dragon still putting up resistance, still putting up a fight. It's just surrounded by two teams, and it's two teams that can frag out. Black Dragon's trying to escape, and so are INCO trying to reconsolidate, but they're not going to be allowed to do so as Nova just raining that utility in, and now shots coming in from VIVO from Quarry.
2 members knocked now. 1 member out. Becker, the last remaining member. McGrennell is pushed right on up. This could be the tournament right here for INCO. They are down. They are out. And they had a 4-point lead over VIVO Keyed. Are VIVO Keyed about to storm, to surge back to the top of the leaderboard? Well, they've got 4 members up. They've got 5 eliminations. Cross. Breathe.
I'm trying. So much progression. They took the power away. They seized the power. I'm looking at the mini-map. I'm trying to relay the information. Numbers are dwindling. Teams are scrambling to get in. Alpha, they've been moved out of the circle. They're trying to scramble in, but that center zone is just on the precipice of Quarry. And none of our top teams are in, Gibson.
Yeah, none of our top teams are away. We apologize for the loss of video. I'm sure once we get the opportunity to get back in, we will. But we will do our best to relay. This is almost like casting a radio gig now, as we have to say what is going on. But there is a big crash up towards the north of the circle by Quarry as Team QUESO are getting pushed. Barbecue lovers, and they're getting pushed by CHABTAN. And let's jump on over though. VIVO Keyed are fighting it out with Nova, and Team QUESO jumped up to 8 eliminations while we were off.
They did indeed, but Alpha 7, they sent and got wiped with just 1 on the board. VIVO Keyed now march forward, trying to get that crown as they're wiping out Nova. Nova, though, getting backfilled by the Black Dragons. The 2 members hold on, and they are making a big influence this game. And influence Infinity, though, they're having an influence as their own as VIVO Keyed turn their attention to them as well, just raining down hellfire and utility grenades falling from the heavens onto the single shack, and it's not a nice situation for the boys here.
It's absolutely horrific for them right now as VIVO Keyed push on in, but suddenly they're getting shot from afar as Storm Gaming turn their attention to this one. Doodoo gets the knock on to Cielo, and could this be enough? Because if VIVO Keyed get wiped out now, there's still a chance for INCO with their 5 eliminations to stay on top.
Diego, you need to hold this door. The res is going to come out, but no. Influence Rage, they're going to sweep on up those knocks. They're going to take those elimination points for their own. They're going to hold the door as well, possibly helping out VIVO Keyed, but they're going to turn their attention to Korean barbecue lovers. And now Infinity, they might have a chance to scramble on out, but no, they've stabilized. They've got the res on off, and this is drama of the highest scale. Influence Rage, I don't know what's going on right now, Gibson, as teams falling, points falling, and it's not going the way that any team in the top 5 want it to go.
And Diego now is the last member of VIVO Keyed. They have 5 eliminations, the same amount as INCO. Diego is gone, and could we have seen INCO's or VIVO Keyed's chance of a tournament go up in smokes crowd? I think that it is all down to what Influence Rage could do in these last 2 maps.
They've got to hold their nerve. They've got to do the work that they've been doing, and just 2 of them on their feet. we've talked about the army of two. They have the utility, they have the vehicles, they can surge on forward. The rest of the lobby is occupied with each other, but can they find a hidey hole? Can they find that high ground? Can they pick apart the rest of the lobby? We still have 8 players and only 2 of them on the side of Influence Rage, but they're going to put up a valiant fight as Nova try and surge forward on their own with a buggy in hand. That 4x spray from Federal, he's laid down the law so many times, but isn't going to be able to collect that name right now.
Well, he is up on top of the bogey, on top of the smoke. And will they be on top of the world by the time tonight is over? It is a 3v2, v2, v1. As my voice breaks, so does silence across as Juancho gets the knock onto Z-Fan. 7 turning his attention over to Zohan, getting the knock there too. There's 3 teams left now, Crot. Dare I say a win for Influence Rage here might put them level or even above top of the team. No way, 7.
Oh, 7.
No way.
7 absolutely destroying the hopes and dreams of Influence. He gets the off angle, he sprays, and he's absolutely laying down the law of the back against the blue. Can he do anything more? Can he take the power away as he's now demolishing the hopes, the dreams, the prayers of Influence Rage as he rains hellfire down with that barrel? Surging forward, Influence Rage. They still stand strong. Storm with 3 though, 1 on the feet, and that's it! Winner, winner, chicken dinner, taking it away and making things even more interesting as another team in the top 5 get a chicken dinner, get a big frigging game, and it's not one of the top 3. Gibson, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I cannot take this. Let's have a look at the highlights.
Yeah, and I just shouted yes there, Croc, because I think that we are going to have to wait and see in the final game who is going to win this tournament. Influence Rage, they have nobody to worry about, Crot, other than themselves in the next lobby. They will need to do the work. Did they do enough in that lobby? I am not sure. But this is on a knife edge. Are INCO going to be on top at the end of this one? Or are Influence Rage going to be your next tournament winners? But Crop, they've got 1 more game to go. INCO, they have no games left. Alpha 7, they have no games left. And the other team that were at the top, Vivo Keyed, have no games left.
This is huge. I cannot believe it. I actually cannot believe it. INCO, yes, we're looking at them now. We're looking at the highlights. They have 5 to their name. That was it. Vivo came over. They didn't have a high fragging game. They got some placement points, but it wasn't good. Alpha, they went out nice and early. I do not know how close this is. I don't even want to look at the leaderboard. I might even close my eyes, but we're going to go and look at the match ranking. Storm Gaming, 27 points. 16 for Influence Rage. Infinity, they come in. They were the thorn in so many teams' side with 14. And Gibson, team number 4. We love those boys.
The barbecue lovers coming in with 11 points, and they've been a much better over the last couple of days than they were over the previous 5 to 6 play days. Team QUESO are going to go out in 5th place with 10 points. Nova Esports 10 points for themselves, and Vivo Keyed picked up 9. But here is the big question as we move on to page 2. How many points did INCO got? Yet they got 6 cross. 6 points.
Enough.
Well, they were 14 points ahead at the start. And you add that on, that's 20. So they went 20 points, and the gap was reduced by 16. So I think that they're maybe 4 points ahead of Influence Rage going into the last game.
We're going to go to team stats because I don't want to look at this, and our producer is going to tease you because he doesn't want to give it away. So team stats. Team Storm, 12 limbs, 1600 damage, and they only had to heal 500. That just shows that positioning and that adult decision making of when to take fights was crucial. And well, they've deserved so much. They came up, they weren't so known in the scene, and they've got themselves into that top half of the leaderboard. As we go over to the top players, and Gibson, run me through this.
Well, 7 popped off at the end, as did Alan, with 5 eliminations each, making them the most dangerous men, joined by M2M from BULUC CHABTAN. Over on the damage side of things, M2M, 678 damage and 3 assists. M2M is he had a pretty busy game for BULUC CHABTAN.
Yeah, he nearly had the triple there, but wow, that game was insane. And I said that game number 3 was the most important game. I'm going to eat my words because that was the most important game, and there's one game left. Gibson, this is coming down to the wire. Production, are we ready to go and have a look at the overall leaderboard? Oh, I think he's going to tease us. He's going to tease us. Matuk, you're a bad man.
I'm going to say it's 4 points is the gap. I'm going to say
I'm not even going to do it. I want to know with the audience. I'm not even going to try and do the quick math, Gibson.
Well, we'll do it. Well, then with that, if we're not going to see the leaderboard, I think it's time for one more break. One more jump to nothingness as we wait for the final game of this tournament. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back on into the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. We are wearing our sunglasses at night because our producer Matuk told us to. Not only that, I'm wearing my sunglasses because I'm pretty confident that the team that I have picked, one which I haven't said out loud yet because I don't want to cast or curse them, is going to win. But Crop, it's tight at the top. You don't know who's at the top. I do. I'm not going to say anything. I'm building suspense.
So me and Gibson like to do this thing where Gibson knows the result of the game previous to the final game, and I don't. I like the drama. I like to find out with the audience. Gibson knows what's going on. I don't. This is why I'm wearing the shades, because I am a trembling mess right now, and I don't know which way to look. I can't look at this screen because there are scores there, and I can't look at Gibson because I can see the results in his screen. And Matuka's just teasing me in the background. So, Gibson, we got one game left. The Master Series. It's been electric.
One game, one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted.
Weak knees.
Spaghetti on your jacket. But Cross, this is the last game, and we're going to Miramar for one last trip. And this tournament, as you may have heard several times, is the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. And if you like PUBG Mobile and you want to play with the highest possible performance, you got to get yourself a smartphone with a Snapdragon processor. It's got that HDR10, massive amounts of high contrast, the brightest and most colorful depth you've ever seen, along with quick touch and much, much more. And Crop, as you like to say, you can find them on the Bluebird and the camera app. And how would you find them on those?
So, Instagram, it's about @Snapdragon Official, and on Twitter, it is Snapdragon. Just remember, ladies and gents, frames win games. That depth of color means you spot your enemies quicker, and that processing power means that your reaction time is matched by your smartphone. Ladies and gentlemen, Snapdragon, they've been an amazing sponsor, and we're coming into the final game of the final game of Master Series. It's coming down to the wire. Gibson, we're going into the final game.
The final game of this tournament, the last chance for Influence Rage to see if they can steal a win, or maybe they've got the win already. You don't know. I know. The producer knows. Crot does not know. But this is a massive opportunity for them. If you are the team that is currently on top and you're not playing, you're sitting on your hands. If you're the team that's on top and you are playing, this is just a victory lap. Crop, that's a nasty little flight path we got.
Yeah, very eastern-sided, and this is going to relegate the majority past San Martin, Power Grid. It's going to make things hard, and it's going to change up the drop spots for a lot of the teams here. But like you said, you know the teams that are in the top. You know the only team that is still going to be playing today, that is in the top 5 for the last game. I don't. I am clueless, and I don't want to know. So this game, I'm taking it as if it is game number 1 of the series. And Gibson, it's a horrible flight path, and this might cause some drama very early as Team Mandrakes. They're going to feel the wrath of that dirty big shotgun. As Nunez, he opens up the game and opens up the final game of the tournament, and Mufasa follows it right on up.
Yeah, J-Hose has fallen now too, as the Mandrakes are trading blow for blow with Rise in the first engagement of the last game of the night. The dirty big shotgun double pumps towards Acid, and he just peeks his little head up like a whack-a-mole as he was unable to hit it, and then he gets the knock onto Mufasa, but not before Nunez can wipe him out of this one. One player left alive for Mandrakes, 3 for Rise, and they are going to hunt him down. Z8 chasing down Ayala. I suppose the one thing I can tell you that's not really a spoiler is if Influence Rage win this, you can be guaranteed they've won the tournament. That's, like, everybody knows that. If they win this map, there's a guarantee.
Is indeed, but Bruno putting up some resistance with the Deagle and an aid. He has 3 members to contest with. He takes one down and one to about 25 HP, but he's dodging, dipping, diving, and trying to run away. He's not long left for this world, but that Deagle, it hits like a freight train, and can he make it count? So, oh no. Shotguns are so powerful. No, he switched over. He's got a mini in hand, but that dirty, big shotgun, as Gibson likes to call it, is going to ring out and sing its song. Can he do anything? Can he oppose it? Can he contest it? Shotgun in hand of his own, and yes, he can! Bruno brings it back. Nunez, who's put so much pressure onto them, he's going to get some revenge now as the pre-fires come on in. But are the Mandrakes, they going to continue? Are they going to hold their heads up? No, they're eliminated! And that is that Z8, though, contesting with Team QUESO. One member left for Team QUESO. They've been so impressive the last 2 days, but the last game of the tournament is going to be cut short for them unless Mono can slip away and try and pick up those frags at the end of the game.
Yeah, Team QUESO, of course, still hunting down prize money. Of course, the top 6, I believe, get a share of our prize pool. Influence Rage, our potential winners, are all by themselves up in La Cabrera as we look at that map, the zone shift. Draw a circle, one little teeny weeny bit touching water, as Graveyard is the center point of this circle. And Cross, as you look around, and you gotta say, Loops in a great spot by Minas, Nova as well. For Influence Rage, the team chasing the win, they have gone for a very passive start to this one.
They have indeed, and I mean, if they can play late, they can ride the circle, and they can come in. They can reap the rewards of it, but again, I've talked about that changing your play style to fit the end game of a tournament. It can be a detriment. If they change what they've been doing, they're at the top because of what they've been doing. If they change that, it might fall apart. If they ride the circle, they might be blocked out, they might be locked out, they might be oppressed. But playing the circle with this amount of free space on the northwest side, they can ride on in. They've got so much high rise that they can scout in. Oh no! Loop's getting punished there.
Oh, Z-Fan getting that one on the board. As how many times, Crowd, have we saw a player blindly run up a hill or drive up a hill just to get their head decapitated when they reach the top?
We call it head scouting. And it's what I do, which is why my KD is very, very low. And scouting from those high rises, which Miramar provides you, those hills, those ridges, those hilltop platforms. If you stop, scout every few hundred meters, you will be rewarded. If you blind send, if you head scout, you're going to be punished. And that's exactly what we've just seen. And this is what I hope Influence Rage do not do. They know they are close to putting a crown on their head. They have the high ground. They have the northwest themselves. They need to play intelligently. They need to hold their nerve and continue to show that maturity that has got them up in the last few games to winning Snapdragon Conquest Master Series.
It's tight at the top. It is so tight. That's all I will say. Zone closing on in. Sam Martin's got intense gaming playing in there. Loops playing by Minas Generala is the place that we know they like to dominate and make their own. ATON 7, remember, it can be confusing sometimes when you have Alpha 7 and ATON 7 inside of the same lobby, but it is only ATON 7 this time around. They're coming in through El Zahar and way off down to the southeast, playing in Puerto Parezo, having a little chill by the beach. Z8.
It's a lovely spot. I can't argue with them for being there, but they are going to have a rough rotation because Impala is locked down. Obviously, we saw the fight there. They're going to have to surge through that. But that middle section, Gibson, on all sides, the west is free. Influence Rage, free rotate. That middle section, just north of Impala, up towards Junkyard, we've seen circles magnate there. It's free.
Kindness.
This is being central focused by a lot of teams. We can see right now 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in between San Martin and Minas, and it is going to get chaotic. This lobby might be fast, furious, and Influence Rage. They can sit back and just clutch up if it continues the way that it's going.
Did you say it's too fast, too furious, Crowd, or 3 fast, 3 furious?
I don't know, but I've got the need for speed.
Oh, is this boy from Intense Gaming rocking up on top of that hill as we got Trap right beside this boy as they run ring around the Rosie. On top of this little ridge by Minas Generalis. Trap running into the smoke as he knows that Nova are weak inside there. And oh, this is just not going to plan in the last game of the night for Nova. And speaking of ring around the Rosie, it's ring around the smoke. As Z-Fan gets the knock. Sprays into that little mix, and Rafa just comes on in and gets the eliminations.
Absolutely backstabbing Nova there, picking them apart, but the job is not done now as Loops are still in front of them and they're going to get the initial knock and elimination. But that M249 with the mad capacity is a ferocious beast, and Loops now on the back foot, and it looks like they're just going to leave the last man there and try and set up with the Overwatch and give a little bit of support, but they know they're going to lose this member up close.
Well, that's a Poiko can't pull him down. Rafa getting fire from way off in the distance as Zeus Boy gets the long range knockdown, turns over to Demonor. Often it can he exercise his Demon's Crot, or will Demonor get him in the end?
Insane. Put enough pressure on just to buy them the time. Yes, they lost one, but they managed to get the flush. They managed to get 5 points on the board already from eliminations. And this is insane because they've got map control and potentially they have just pushed Loops off of that high ground, made them retreat as a 2-man into a little hidey hole, and they can now rain down on the rest of the lobby. But that circle has shifted and it is getting very, very busy. And Influence Rage, well, they're descending on what we like to call Esports compound, which overlooks Hacienda and the fields down onto the crossroads.
Those crossroads. How many times have we seen a massive game-changing interaction happen with those crossroads? They are such a pivotal place of the map, and that compound. It surprised me actually that. Oh, right. What did we see?
It looks like it's being crashed, but no, they come back off. Come back. Oh, it's Influence Rage, and they look like they're going to crash, but it is locked down by Team Souls on the compound that we've been talking about. I've seen so many circles end here. I've seen so many esports circles end here. I've seen teams on PC, console, mobile win from here where they've just been gifted and gifted and gifted again. And this circle, this compound is so, so pivotal. But Influence Rage, they identified that someone was there. They pulled off. They backed off. And they live to fight another day, but Honored Souls now coming into Infinity, and it's going to be a 1-on-1, 4-on-4 fight here, and this is huge for both of these teams on the leaderboard.
Yeah, Infinity, that explosion happened, and Nino rocking on up as Myth gets that knock, and now pushing in towards the rest. Oh, the explosion, Finito is gone as Nino once again is knocked, and then Nino gets that knock. Nino, of course, oh my god, Infinity.
Wow.
Call Star Command because they are gone.
The quick switch from the Groza to the M4 with the scope on it was disgusting. That crosshair placement, pivotal. And again, that just shows the mechanical skill of these mobile players. You can't sleep on them. They are disgusting and they are athletes in every sense of the word. Wow.
Cross. It is
That was vile.
tense.
That was vile.
Influence Rage, your lobby leaders, still playing just to the north of... Sorry, not your lobby leaders. Where did I get that from? Your lobby hunters, I should say, up towards the north, towards water treatment. We've got WARMASTERs by Cruz Deval, ATON 7 over in the junkyard by Rise and down to the south. And don't worry, guys at home, that was not a leak by me. That was just a slip of the tongue that was incorrect.
We don't even know what the leaderboards are, but that circle is focusing on in, and it's getting very congested around those crossroads. And the crossroads, they are such a strong place to hold, especially when those circles hold. People have to rotate down and through. The ridges don't find much solace there. It's intense gaming. They're trying to find a rotation of their own, and on the Souls, well, that M4 spray is just going to rain down on them. They managed to escape and not take too much damage, allowed to carry on in their merry way, but that circle shifted, and it's going to shift on down to what we call the T-junction compound, and no one's in it.
I'm surprised that nobody is in it right now because, you know, it's not. It's the. I'm trying to remember what that compound is called. Just at that crossroads. It's named after a player, and it's not the Silers. My brain has gone completely.
Silers did wipe a Brazilian team there.
Yeah,
which
it's
we're
the
not going to
Silers.
mention on stream.
It's the Silers compound. That's what it was
We
called.
can't mention that. We can't mention that name. That's heresy right now. But yeah, that compound on the T-junction, we call it T-junction in our squad. It's so powerful. You've got the warehouse, you've got the concrete, you've got the little huts, you've got the burnt out vehicles, and it's so powerful. But no one's there. No one has identified. It does look like it is going to be taken, but it's late, and I'm so surprised that anyone is allowed to get there for free. Loops though, holding on, and it's just one player left. The Demon Demior up on top of the crates. He does have that third person perspective. He can survey the area, but how long is he going to be allowed to loom up on top of this aloft the open top garage?
I'd say he's probably going to get the chill there a little while. Oh, Jer there from MEZEXIS Dreams landing a winning shot, but not finding the head because, of course, it does 99 damage. But he's missing one.
99 damage from the Winchester. Those 45 ACP rounds hit like a truck. That's why that UMP is so powerful up close. And if you can load that into a Winchester with that scope early game, it's a monster. But we're looking at it. 36 players, 12 teams remain in the final game. Gibson, I'm lost for words. It's so close. It is electric. And this is why we love PUBG Mobile.
Oh, I'm absolutely loving every single minute of this tournament. And what I've got to say right now is that Influence Rage haven't picked up a single elimination yet.
They haven't, but they've got all four on their feet, and they've got a very strong compound, high rise, looking over the field. They can bide their time. Placement points are so important. If they play passive, if they get the win, and if they let the eliminations come to them, I'm sure they can clutch it up with even just one team. It's that close, ladies and gents.
It is. Crud, I am so happy that I got to cast the final day because everything is up for grabs. We had 4 teams in the hunt going into this one. And now in the last map, it is still all to be decided. ATON 7, and look at that zone shift.
Oh, no. Oh, that's just taking the power away from so many teams. Again, Influence Rage, they positioned, they're so strong. Oh, the bolty shot nailing, but not quite getting the knock there from Choco. But C8, they've been strong in the last couple of games, but they're coming under siege right now on its soul. So they're going to take the first knock, but can they follow up? Can they get the lone member? The reinforcements are coming surging over the hill, and it looks like more members are going to fall from on its souls, and it's not going their way. They've had a good night, but it's all about to fall apart in the last game.
Pedrinho peeking over the edge and Paulson. Oh, he lands it, but he doesn't get the knock. Lukaku pushing in to finish what Pedrinho started, and he does. And that will be that as Lukaku falls. Oh my God, poor Lukaku.
No. He actually got taken down by falling there, which is just unfortunate. Great push. That bolt shot, disgusting. And I'm loving seeing bolts come back into PUBG Mobile as a force to be reckoned with, because it is that one shot ability to knock someone, to start that push, to start that engagement. As Choco's going to try and find out, but he's going to be punished for being out in the open, as that that tap fire, well, it's far superior to the one shot reload of a bolt.
Yeah, well, that's that age gold argument that we have. The bolt can be so powerful if you hit your shots, but you need to hit it at first try. Choco doing a lot of damage, but unable to get a knock as Gary is just popping off with that UMP right now. Up against Team Souls. Rise, of course, just one member left. It is Gary. Team Souls, well, they are going to get Gary out of the game as Rise fall in 9th place with just 8 teams left alive. We're inside the placement points, Crot.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh no, that was a nasty spray. But Gary, I just want to highlight him. He's been phenomenal all tournament, being left alone quite a few times and managed to clutch out. But that was not one of those occasions, but still deserves a bit of spotlight. Intense game, and they still up, but they have a bit of a split. That circle has changed, and Team Souls, well, they're laying down onto Influence, and this could be the determining factor of who goes away with the crown.
Yeah, Influence Rage, they've lost one, they're falling back in. Kowski is going to drop now too, as the explosion wipes him out. And Marco Poppy confirms that Influence Rage, with just 2 players left alive. Oh my god, this is getting hot and heavy now as the team falls in it. And that's another placement point picked up for Influence Rage, but it's all down to Polly and Law. Can they win this season of the Snapdragon Conquest, or will they fall short? Oh, well, that zone shift, Crot, they have sent it straight on into the shack in the center. And I don't think there's anybody out there who is going to think for a second that that shack is empty.
Gibson, I've mentioned this before. I'm a little bit older. My heart can't take this. Influence, they got 2 up. Law, phenomenal. Fragging on out. But now they've got center base. Everyone else needs to fight their way in. They've got at least 200 meters of square space around them. And everyone needs to concentrate on everyone else. The center circle is the last of everyone's worries. Influence Rage, they could potentially take this without getting a single elimination.
Well, the issue for them is that zone shift is going to draw Z8 and the WARMASTERs their way. Team Souls are also heading this way as Influence Rage hold this compound. ATON 7 to the north. EXG and Team Souls now coming under fire from the WARMASTERs, and this all plays into the hands of Influence Rage. Every time one team attacks another, well, that increases their chances of the win.
Does indeed, but they've got to show that resolve. They've got the hard cover. They're only exposed from a few tiny little windows and one singular door, but they can keep their heads down and their noses clean and not raise any suspicions. Potentially they can go unnoticed, and later on in this game when the circle tries to shift down towards that T-junction, towards the road, they might be able to lap up a few kills, but right now Hex trying to defend the warehouse, and it's the only hard cover, the only compound left. Oh my goodness gracious me, Team Souls now still laying down the law from a shack of their own.
Oh, and their WARMASTERs are heading into the zone, and they're getting closer and closer to Influence Rage. Team Souls being drawn that way as well. Oh, this is getting tighter and tighter at the top. The utility coming on out now, and all this noise is just going to draw even more tension towards Influence Rage. They can hear it. They know the teams are nearby as another member of the WARMASTERs fall. Boy,
Gibson,
oh
it's
boy.
that domino effect. It's that domino effect. Look at the northeast. It is so congested. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players, and they're all heading towards each other. Influence Rage, they're just going to be able to pick and poke and take the armor, take the meds, and take everything they want. If they see a knock, they're going to take it. They're going to seize it. Every point is just another one on the total, just an inch closer to that title. I don't know who can stop them right now.
Oh, and Paulie gets a knock.
Oh,
that's big. That is really big. Influence Rage pick up a point and another placement point as another team falls. Have they done enough? They're inside the top 5 now. They have an elimination. Oh, well, you don't know. I
don't know. And this is, it's one elimination. I don't know the placement points. I don't know how much they've got to do, and it's freaking me out because I love these guys, but I love Alpha 7, I love Influence Rage, I love INCO, and it's so tight.
And
they've all been incredible competitive. I love Lamp as well. They've all been incredible performance and athletes, but it's going to come down to the last game, which only one team is playing, and they're holding on by a hair, a breath inside a shack. They've only got one elimination. They're holding on. They're hoping the rest of the lobby will do the work for them. But is that enough? Can they be this passive? Can they rest on their laurels? Gibson, I'm not sure.
Well, they are starting to split on out of that shack as MEZEXIS dreams start pushing this way. And MEZEXIS Dreams are a big name. Law gets another kill. That's another point for Influence Rage. And is it enough, boys? Is it enough? As Law looks down towards ATON 7. They're moving on, and as well, a win would put no question on for Crot. I know exactly the lay of the land, but I'm not giving it away. 11 players left, 4 teams in the final game of the Snapdragon Masters Conquest series.
The worst thing about this is ATON. They've got so many members up. Everyone else battered and bruised apart from MEZEXIS, but they're coming in from opposing side. Influence Rage. They're in a sandwich, and they can do but nothing but hold on. But now Team Souls and Nades coming in and over and potentially ruining the dreams. Souls, Influence Rage, can he land another one? It looks like it's good, but is it going to be good? Yes, it is! And now taking the power away or smothering their dreams.
Yeah, Law now, the last...
can't handle this.
He's the last man standing, and he is just sitting inside the smoke, using the vehicle for some cover. That Lamborghini showing how good it is off-road. Choco and the rest of ATON 7 pushing up towards King. MEZEXIS Dreams driving up on the ridge as well. They've got 4 men up, as do ATON 7. Team Souls are wiped.
That might be enough.
And we're inside the top 3. Law now is the split between MEZEXIS Dreams and ATON 7, and he can just stay inside this Lamborghini and chill, because Crot, remember we spoke about the right time and the wrong time to play in a valley. This is 100% the right time.
No way is he getting away with sitting in that Lamborghini. It does look like ATON possibly seen him. No, they're not looking, but great weapon in hand, and they're just going to allow ATON and MEZEXIS to clash. Horns and Law sitting, playing patiently in the back seat. Those tinted windows doing them the world of favors as they annihilate one another, coming in. Placement points mounting up, and it looks like, oh my goodness, CXC gets the knock. Lucky follows it on up. MEZEXIS, their dreams, well, dream by name, but not by nature. Oh my god, as if you're getting away with this, man.
They have no clue at all.
He's got to prioritize targets, so he's got to hope they come together.
They're not going to spot him. They're look, Patty's right there. Choco moves on past, no interest, because the other teammates have moved past. They've got no interest in the Lamborghini at all as they all push up into this ridge, and Law must be absolutely giggling to himself.
They're going to mount on up. There's 2 players on the right condensing together, trying to isolate and get a pick onto MEZEXIS. But if they do, if 3 players go there, 1 knock, 1 flush.
Yeah, Law, he's just
oh my god, look at how many of them are together. If he's got a nade in his back pocket, this could be it. It could spell disaster. No, Lucky! Brings the trap, gets 1, doesn't get the second, but the knock comes out, and that might just spring the trap for MEZEXIS to come on over ATON. They have to recover. They have to recover quickly. Lucky is down. The res is coming on out, but MEZEXIS, they're springing their trap. They're acting on this, and this is exactly what you want, to be proactive when the knock comes through in the final 2v2.
Yeah, but CXC is closing the gap onto Axel. Little jump punch, get him closer and closer. And oh no, that big ol' MG Crot, that thing hits. You talk about things hitting like a train. This thing hits like a nuclear missile.
Oh, it's not going to get a chance.
Hits harder.
It's not going to get the chance to hit. That 75 mag capacity is being stunted out with just 3 bullets as MEZEXIS surge forward, 1 after 1. ATON 4 like dominoes, and MEZEXIS look like they're going to get the last game of the series, and they do. They take it away, but what does this mean, Gibson? What does it mean?
It means that MEZEXIS Dreams won the map, Crot. Come on, it's simple. But honestly, was the play inside the Lamborghini enough for Influence Rage? Yep, the Lamborghini.
Beautiful. That is a pun I can get behind. Law used that to perfection. He didn't get the knock, but he incited enough. He got knocked, but he incited the fight, and he still got 3rd. He got 2 eliminations. Is that enough? I have no idea. You know the scores. I don't. I want to find out with the audience. I'm freaking out because this is as close as it could possibly get. All of the top 4 teams, apart from 1, were in that game. And it might come down to the last game. I love it. Alpha 7 did this 2 seasons ago, but they might have it turned against them. They were leading coming into the final day, and it might be a reverse. A lightning strikes twice, but against them as Influence Rage surge forward. The Lamborghini coming in, hiding in the smoke, and possibly taking victory away from Alpha 7.
Yeah, we will know in just a few minutes. I think some people in chat have done their maths. I know that I already know who has won, but all I can say is it has been an incredible tournament from start to finish. It was an absolute joy working with everybody involved. And Law and Influence Rage, they moved into the shack area. They lost 2 players on rotation. And I am sure their hearts were in their throats as they were pushing into the shack, praying that nobody was lying in wait. Law in his Lamborghini as the rest of ATON 7 wrapped on down the hill, right past them. And he had to pop up when he did, because I think he was only seconds away from being spotted by Lucky.
I think Lucky spotted him, and that's why he popped on out. He's heading straight towards the Lamborghini, which it will forever be known as.
I think he was trying to steal it.
Right, we're going to go on over to team stats. Gibson, we're getting so close. I can't handle this. But team stats. Elims 6, 989 damage, 500 heals. They were passive, but they came up. They struck when Law did the damage, when Law got the knock, and they clutched it out for those all-important chicken dinner points.
Yeah, fantastic performance by MEZEXIS in the last game. Something they can build on as they got that win. Let's jump on over to the top players in the 3 categories. And right on top, we see in Reich 1 with 4 eliminations, along with Rima from MEZEXIS Dreams. Reich 1 doubling down with the damage done as well, as Team Souls finished the tournament pretty well as well. And Hive Babies, well, he got 5 assists.
Phenomenal stats, and just an insane game to end it. Not the biggest stats of the night, not the highest damage that we've seen in the night, but the most entertaining, the most nail-biting, the most gripping game, because it means everything to every single team in this lobby. As we're going to move over to the next stat board, and I don't know if my heart can take it.
Yeah, well, up next we have the 3rd screen of our overall standings. We're going to see 24th all the way through to 17th place. 17th Z8, 18th Intense Game, GZM, and 19th WARMASTER, BULUC CHABTAN, Korean Barbecue Lovers, Team Souls, and back-to-back round out 26th. 24th through to 17th. Crot, why don't you take us through 16th through to 10th?
I'm going to go from the bottom on up because it is so close. We're seeing teams sharing that, but let's go up to that mid section of the leaderboard. So we go in 6th on this ATON on 167, on its Souls on 171. XM Gaming on 172, 173 for Black Dragons, just 2 points between 13th and 15th. Oh my goodness, MEZEXIS Dreams with that win get themselves at 182, Infinity on 196, 202, the 200 point mark being broken by Nova, and Rise round out the top 9, or 9 to 16th with 204, but Gibson 8th to 1st.
Yeah, let's look at our champions of the Snapdragon Conquest Elite League. Drum roll, please, as our producer is going to bring up the champions. Let's go. The winners of the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series is Influence Rage, as they snuck it away at the death. And Crop, they needed 5 points going into that one to get the win. They needed 5, and they got a lot more than that.
Oh my god, the last game of the series, they're the only ones in the lobby, and they made it count. I cannot believe how close this is. Bearing in mind, Vivo Key 3 play days ago had a 70-point lead. They finished in 3rd. 313 for Influence lead. INCO with the 9 chicken dinners, proving their end game is superior to everyone else in the lobby. 305, a singular point ahead of Vivo Key. Alpha 7, they don't quite hit the 300 mark, but 291, so respectable. Storm Gaming coming in outsiders, they end in 5th. Team QUESO 257. The Mandrakes, a qualifying team again in the top 8 in 7th place for 235. And in loops, the phenomenal penultimate day, they couldn't finish it off, but they finished in the top 8 with 225.
Yeah, and it was just those eliminations that let INCO down. Let's see our tournament MVP, and the best player this year was Revo. And Krot, looking at those stat lines, it is no surprise why.
That's vile. I'm actually looking at his damage and going, that's not okay. That's really not okay. 53 eliminations, 52 knockouts, and 10,512 damage. That is vile. Revo, even when the chips are down, army of 2, army of 1, this man puts up the numbers, collects the dog tags, collects the eliminations and the points for his team. And unfortunately, no matter his efforts, they still didn't quite get the crown, but this man is a king nevertheless.
Yeah, brilliant performance by him. And now the last screen, the top kills of the tournament. Revo with 53, Mono with 50, Diego with 43, and Krot. We spoke about the reason why Nova didn't, or not Nova, but why the win didn't come in for INCO. They didn't have anybody in the top 10 fragging out.
Yeah, it's that balance of frags and winning games and placement points. And to be honest, if you can win games that consistently and put that puzzle piece together, the frags will come, because it's obvious that you can win those 1v1s when that team chemistry comes there and you can realize that you're good enough to take those fights. That puzzle will come together, you will complete it, and I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Brilliant performance. Look, I think that they were phenomenal. They were so good in the end game. But we're going to jump on back to you and I. But Krot, we were just two of the many people that were involved in making this season an absolutely massive success. First off, a massive thank you to you for casting with me tonight. It was an absolute pleasure going through this final weekend along with you. Massive thank you to Matuk, who was an S-tier producer. He's an absolute pleasure to work with. He's celebrating in chat, but no, we love Matuk. Guys, give that man a raise. That's what I'm going to say. And there was also a bunch of phenomenal casters that took us through the season. We had the one, the only Imperium. We had Chunks. We had Frost. We had the Lark Shark. And we had Krot stuff. So big, massive thank you to all those guys. Thanks to all the observers. Thanks to all the players. And most importantly, thanks to all you viewers at home. We hope you enjoyed this tournament as much as we did.